Cameron, welcome to you, Benny.
Hello, Clinchy. It is great to be here for Jim's game. Craik at the MCG, so I hope I've got that right. Crack. I know it is sort of crack, but they kind of say...
No, it's crack. It's not. There's nothing Craik about it.
It started well.
It's Craig Ellis and it's crack.
Okay, crack at the MCG. Wind the tapes back. Crack at the MCG. Great to be here. With an Irish passport, free entry and a free Guinness. We don't normally do brands on the ABC, but you sort of had to for that. So they're sort of going with split the G at the MCG.
And I heard that. It's Bob Murphy, by the way. It's
welcome to Bob Murphy. Welcome to Daniel Harford. Away you go, Bob.
I misread that. I thought it was Irish accent, and I went in strong. How you going there, lad? And just puzzled looks, embarrassed looks. They even got threatened to be frog marched off the premises. No freebies for me. But it's lovely to be here. Love Jim Steins, the man, the player, the life that he had. And I love watching these two footy teams, and I love being in your company.
As you can hear, the Brisbane Lions theme song in the background. So the Lions making their way out onto the MCG, led by Lachie Neale in game 300, and his family is in attendance. It's been a turbulent 8 months for him in his personal life, but he is celebrating the dual Brownlow medalist, one of the rare air 300 games. He becomes the Brisbane Lions' most recent addition to that club. There is a late change, so Darcy Fort is out through illness. And Zane Zakazelski comes in for his third game of footy. So 20 years of age, 196 centimetres. Daniel Harford, welcome to you.
Oh, it's lovely to be with you. It's just a great day to be at the MCG.
I knew you'd have a crack, no doubt.
I definitely didn't have a crack. No way would I have a crack today.
Have a crack.
I tell you, Jim Steins, my favourite memory, which was a bit painful at the time, right in front of us, in fact, down where Razor Ray will be on the interchange this afternoon, he smashed the living daylights out of me, popped my AC joint in the merger game in 1996.
Wow.
Smashed me to bits. And it was really, really sore, but adrenaline got me through and I'm courageous. But
Yep.
And played the next week, as you imagine, Bob. But he just looked at me after. He looked at me and smiled and ran off.
Was there a crake in the collarbone?
I'm leaving.
I don't remember there being a crake, but I do remember about 2.5 litres of elephant juice to get through the next week in that shoulder.
Before we get on the serious stuff, I mean, themed sort of games, are you all for it? This sort of Irish idea to try and invite other fans to come and be a part of it. And Melbourne's history with Jim Steins, it's a nice little lineage.
Doesn't hurt anyone.
No.
I mean, this one I love. I think this is like right at the top of the tree. Jim Steins, beloved, brings a different flavour, brings a different colour. Green smoke has literally just exploded into the air.
The Demons have their green socks as they're about to make their way through the banner.
And it's not, obviously the focus is on Jim today, but like he and Sean White were big news.
Incredible.
When that happened, when they came across and became such important players at this footy club through their time, obviously, sadly we've lost both those gentlemen. But they were big. That was big news. So the Irish connection's always been strong at Melbourne. Through their W program, it's really strong too. And Jim's been an icon of the game, let alone just this footy club. So any chance to get more people to the footy, particularly on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon, why wouldn't you do it?
And what a role Jim Steins has played in the Melbourne history. And Max Gawn wearing that number 11 leads the Demons out onto the MCG. You can hear their theme song in the background. We had a chance to look at Xavier Taylor in the VFL in the first game against Footscray, and we see Max Heath, who's also been there, having featured for the Saints in 4 games late last season. He's come in to give some support to Max Gawn. But what a mighty challenge. 2 sides that are 3 wins and 2 losses, but on paper it feels like Brisbane are going north, and we're a little unsure as to where Melbourne will finish.
Yeah, and in fairness, if you go back to what we thought of these two teams at the start of the season, it's probably the same conversation we're having today. I'm not really sure about Melbourne or what it's going to be looking like. We have seen a lot of them. Sunday 3 o'clock here on the ABC, and
we're doing a residency. Sundays with the D's.
We're doing a doctorate on them.
D's radio just about. Like it's good to see them evolve under Stephen King, and we've talked a lot about that in the last couple of weeks. But they're about where I thought they would be. Brisbane, we know, as back-to-back premiership winners, always going to be a bit slow out of the blocks because the toll it takes physically as much as emotionally to start a new season. So I think this game is it sits where they are currently, sits perfectly where I thought I had them, framed them in my mind. I want to see how Melbourne cope with what I think is one of the best teams in footy.
They probably just got it the wrong way around, didn't they? The win against the Gold Coast Suns and then the loss against Essendon. If they were the other way around, probably balances out exactly where we had Melbourne.
But even to that, from a system perspective, Essendon might have exploited an opportunity for teams to take advantage of playing Melbourne, taking all the energy out of it, taking the ping pong aspect, which seemingly Melbourne have thrived on. Well, we've seen them thrive on it here at this very venue in the first month of footy. So maybe Brisbane are a kick-mark team.
Yeah, they do that well.
So they do it brilliantly. So Melbourne, Stephen King and his coaches might have to have a plan B in place to deal with that if it eventuates with when Brisbane get the footy.
Well, and you see they've put a fair bit of time. It seems like they've put more time in how they move the ball and their offence. So that the challenge of the team defence element of Stephen King's approach will be on show today, for better or worse.
And their 3 wins, Melbourne, have come at the MCG. So while there's curiosity around Brisbane, and they've sort of put that to one side in terms of winning here, they don't get to play here all that often. So that is the one advantage Melbourne have, having had wins against St Kilda, Carlton and the Gold Coast Suns, and their 2 losses have come to the Dockers in Perth and the Bombers in Gather Round at the Adelaide Oval. But, the temperature test for Brisbane, it feels like some of their injuries, with Hugh McCluggage having been out, Harris Andrews through suspension, they're starting to get a few of those key pillars back, and the big unknown is what capacity can Sam Draper and Oscar Allen get to?
Well, that's what I want to see live, I must admit. That's one of the things driving in. I was thinking about what do I really want to get out of this game. I want to see those 2 in combination, because I've watched Draper on the TV, and I reckon he's had a really good impact so far for Brisbane, and obviously the versatile player who can be in the ruck and have an influence, but also go forward and hit the scoreboard. Sometimes not the way you traditionally do it, but he does it. And then Allen's that, I reckon he's really blossomed. He seems to have been freed up mentally, just watching him move around the footy park in the first month of the season. So, yeah, that's a great opportunity for them to grow again. It's the last thing the other 17 teams need, is to see Brisbane grow again, but they're providing that opportunity.
Just fascinating around Brisbane. I did some numbers during the week. So, the guys that they obviously played in the 2023 Grand Final, lost. Played in 24-1, played in 25 and won. So back-to-back flags, as we well know. 4 guys played in 2023 and have not played in the subsequent next 2. So they've played in the grand final and still don't have a premiership medal.
Yep.
Dev Robertson, who's no longer there, and Jared Lyons, who's no longer there. Then it's also Link McCarthy and Kadeen Coleman, who are both in the team today. So they might be able to change that come the end of this season. But over the history of the Brisbane Lions, they've played in 7 grand finals, and there's only 5 guys that have played in a losing grand final yet never played in a winning one. So played in a loss and don't have a premiership medal to show for it. The other is Dylan McLaren, who played in 04 but didn't play in 03, 02 or 01. So that's an incredible record.
Dylan McLaren also lost the 1999 TAC Cup Under-18 grand final. So
were you in that team?
Yeah. How'd you guess that, Ben? It was a deep cut, wasn't it? The stat, if I hadn't have also been there that day.
It's quite incredible that they've played in 7 grand finals and they only have 5 guys that have played in a losing one and not a winning one.
Yeah. That's actually quite ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah.
I don't think that would come anywhere close. Any other clubs in the competition have that stat going around. Dylan McLaren, by the way, great Carlton man.
Yeah, played 1 season there at the end.
1 season with me, yep. Big man. He loved a good time.
It's not the reunion they would want, but a 5 little annual dinner.
Well, it could go down to 3 at the end of the year, because Link McCarthy
and play another one, and
Kadeen Coleman could win one at the end of this season, and you'd be a brave person to bet against Brisbane right now.
Speaking of 5, there's a lot of focus on Lachie Neale this week, as there should be, as one of the champions of the game and bringing up game number 300. But Josh Dunkley's record, when you break it down, is pretty good, isn't it? He's had 5 grand finals.
It's quite something.
3 flags, 5 grand finals. He's had quite the career.
Yep, most courageous player in there as well from the AFLPA. Yeah, he's been a hell of a player, hasn't he?
And he's
son of Andrew.
Great success story for Brisbane. Come and play in a culture where you can be successful, and that's probably the question, Bob, as Oscar Allen comes there, Sam Draper comes there. It's not quite how the AFL hoped free agency would work. These guys who have been captains of other clubs, and Draper a key figure in the Bombers, and yet the idea of going to an environment where you might be able to physically get to a level where you can perform at your best week in, week out is a real lure for clubs like Brisbane and the Gold Coast.
Yeah, we talk so much, don't we, about the lure of the big dollars. Not far behind that, and maybe not behind that is players. They like the lifestyle of playing in a winning team.
Well, he tried to go to Essendon the year before and was blocked. So
Two first-round picks, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
that's
2 first-round, and they wanted 3.
Yeah, it's pretty divergent fortunes for Josh Dunkley, isn't it?
Great result for him.
The other game taking place at Docklands earlier, it's the Roos who lead by 56 points, 14-8-92 to the Tigers, 4-12-36. This is all of a sudden a disaster day for the Tigers. It was 10 goals to 2 at halftime, and Richmond have 3 injuries. So Morris Rioli, Tim Taranto, who's out through concussion, and Sam Banks as well. So it's the Roos who lead by 56 points. There is an ABC call of that available on ABC Listen, but yeah, 3-quarter time there.
We've spoken about this on the podcast that we do half ABC AFL Daily, and the fact that Richmond have lost by 68 points, 60 points, 42 points, 56, and that margin is at 56 at the moment. And they're suffering some heavy defeats. They're going sneaky bad.
And the grumbling is getting louder.
Mm.
The grumbling from outside the walls is getting louder about what is happening at Richmond and why is this happening after such a positive year last year. We know there's injuries, but
it's the reverse of last year, though, isn't it? Where the expectations were low for Richmond last year, and they performed really well. They hung in. They didn't get those beltings. I don't have the stats on hand like you do there, Benny, for this year. But last year, that was one of their defining characteristics of how they just went all the way to the bell.
And there was almost like a groupthink in the media, I believe, anyway, that this is how you do a rebuild. Richmond have done it perfectly. Yep. Struggled first year under Uze. They won 5 games last year. Were competitive in every game. They're coming with a rush. And it feels like, and I know it's not always linear, but it feels like there's been a fair bit of regression this year.
Well, hard to deny it.
Yeah.
You look at the numbers and just the way they've played too. And I was watching a fair bit of this game before I jumped in the car this afternoon. They haven't looked anywhere near it. Now, 2 goals 12 at half time, Clinchy, doesn't help.
No.
That certainly does. You don't coach 2 goals 12.
Yeah.
But it's the way they're getting scored against. It's the looks they're producing that don't get quality looks going forward. It's the movement. It's the contest. It's all breaking down at the moment for the Tigers, let alone their players. So it's a big watch, and the grumbling, as I said, is getting louder. So the noise will keep coming, I reckon, if this continues.
And some of the grumbling is around the high performance. So haven't seen Taj Houghton, haven't seen Smiley, haven't seen Armstrong this season. So these high draft picks that they've invested to try and build the future, Adam Uze doesn't have them at his fingertips, and there is a redevelopment taking place at Punt Road, so there's all sorts of questions there about what they're doing in their high-performance side.
Well, that was Essendon last year, wasn't it?
It was, so it's not dissimilar. Matt Clich and Ben Cameron to call the action. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford, your Sunday team. We are thrilled to say Razor Ray Chamberlain is joining our Sunday team, and as you see, Ray...
Are we thrilled?
Don't take any backward steps. Nice to have you as a part of a team, and welcome to the front row of the MCG.
Good afternoon, gents. It is spectacular down at ground level. You could not ask for a better day for footy. I am looking forward to today. Did a little bit of research on the way in. 23.5 million litres of Guinness are consumed by Australians per annum. And I did a head count as I walked in, and it works out to be about 400 pints per person here at the MCG today. We don't endorse that. Drink responsibly, of course. And a big shout out to the young kids who are making their way off the MCG in green this week, despite the AFL's muzzled approach. Is umpiring community round, appreciation to the young umpires. Without them, we can't play.
Gee, they made a blue of that, Rose.
Yeah, haven't heard much about it this week, right?
Nah, Whispering Kamal, I think. I'm not sure what's going on there. A little bit of Humphrey work from Docklands.
I hope you didn't have to consume the product, Ray, to taste it, to get those numbers, but great to have you a part. And Lockie Neal ran through the banner. He had his kids there in attendance as well. So that was a good sign to see him celebrated. He's had such a prodigious career. It's been a tough 6 to 8 months for him, but where he plays his future beyond this year is obviously not the focus of today.
It might be the best active CV in football at the moment, Lockie Neals.
Oh, that's a good question for the afternoon.
Well, you haven't been listening to the ABC AFL Daily podcast.
0437 774 774. Of course I do, Ben, but other people don't, and I just want to spread the net further. Gee whiz.
Sunday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
Testing between you two early.
Having a crake at me early.
It's Melbourne and Brisbane from the MCG. Here's Ben Cameron.
Gawn taps it down, Steele out of the middle, high ball inside 50 for the D's. Mychek launching at it, Sport away from him, ball at the deck, or on the deck rather, and Handsworth over the top of it. Lockie Neal burrowing in as he always does. Nowhere to go, and we'll get another ball up. 40 out from the attacking goal for the D's. Kicking towards the Punt Road end in this opening term. About half of the MCG in sunlight at the moment. Draper laying it down, getting onto it. Bailey, he'll clear, hooks it into the middle of the ground. Tracking it back, unable to mark Turner. Still goes after it, bouncing ball. Now he's finally got it. Backward of the bullseye. Melbourne with the footy. Handball to Tolstrup. Cuts back into the congestion. Gets rid of it. And the kick goes out wide away to Van Rooyen. High half forward for the D's.
Got it from Howes. Swings out to his right. Cosy Pickett's in the pocket. Sends it more central than that. Sharp presents. Brought down at ground level. Wilmot trying to get a hand pass clear. It's stuck underneath him. And the umpire will ball it up only about 15 metres out from the Melbourne goal. The floodlights have been turned on, but more than half the ground is beautifully bathed in sunlight on a coolish Sunday afternoon. Van Rooyen up against Draper. Spills down to Berry of the Brisbane Lions. Tackle dispossessed. Mychek has no chance to break clear as Harris Andrews lays the tackle.
Umpires Hanson, O'Gorman, Stevens and Adair in charge of this one. Draper again winning the tap. Ricochets back into the congestion and a clearing kick from Levi Ashcroft. There's a whistle anyway. It'll come back, I think. The Lions want to take the advantage. The umpire says no, bring it all the way back. So a free kick going the way of the Lions, and Ty Gallop kicked 3 goals in the prelim final at the MCG against Collingwood last year, but turned into a defender this year. Short to Fletcher. No score through the opening 2 minutes. Fletcher looks for the Lions up towards the wing. Draper the target. Through the hands there of Turner. Out the back, Lever gathers the footy for the D's. Off to Windsor, cuts a swathe through them. Takes the advantage. Feeds the handball forward away to Laurie. He likes the look of the goals. It's offline and through for a minor score. Opening score of the match. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Goes the way of the D's. We've played 2 minutes and change.
Ainsworth brings Brisbane back into play. Finds Levi Ashcroft, who can chip it over the top to Harris Andrews. Still inside the defensive 50. Now to Leicester. The kick mark game that beautifully transition this to the outer side. And here's Josh Dunkley, who takes the mark. Dunkley in game 200 for the Brisbane Lions. Comes inboard. Fletcher has it. Centre of the Shane Warnstand wing. Brisbane in control as he just chips it back out to Levi Ashcroft. Melbourne have set the ground up, so no real avenue for Brisbane other than the long kick down the line. So he just tries to tug that kick in the direction of Dunkley. Can't take the mark. Howes with a hand pass to Jack Steele, and he's shoved over the boundary line by Will Ashcroft. Out of wing, it's the Demons who lead by a point. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. We played 3 minutes in the opening term.
I reckon that would please Stephen King to be able to stop that attack there from Brisbane. 128 uncontested marks last week from Essendon. They can shut them down. That'll give them a chance today.
Secondary ball up. Between wing and half forward here for Brisbane. Tap down to Rayner, who kicks quickly inside 50. Ends up with Allen on the bounce. He's tackled the ground. Umpire will come in and sort it out. 20 out from the attacking goal here for the Lions. 3.5 minutes. Gawn and Draper arriving late. Gawn taps it down and Cosy Pickett hooks a kick out of there. Back up towards the wing. Marking contest out the back. Andrews rids himself of Van Rooyen and Fletcher mops up. Sweeps a handball to Ainsworth. Away to Berry. Handball into the middle for Gallop. In the bullseye. Smack bang in the middle of the MCG. Tumble punt. Shocker off the shin. Turnover. Langdon on the back flank for the D's. Gives it off away to Howes, who gives it to Pickett.
Up towards Mychek, who dropped the mark against Gallop, but it's gathered by Langford. Hand pass away to Langdon. Then Laurie's hand pass. It just comes undone. Spent before he had it, Langford. And it comes back the way of Brisbane. Berry driving, kick inside 50. Out the back. The mark is taken. Logan Morris rises up. And a tough one for Harrison Petty, caught in front. Morris in the right forward pocket. He's about 35 metres out from goal.
You can undo so much good work, can't you, with just the basic fundamentals. Brodie Mychek, whose role in this side is fairly nuanced, but one of the big pillars of his game is to push up high and wide to the wings, and he did that beautifully. Drops the chest mark, ball goes into chaos, and the Brisbane Lions make you hurt on the turnover.
53 goals last season for Logan Morris, just 20 years of age. Kicked 3 behinds last week. His first goalless game since round 20 last season against the Suns. Looking to start things for the Brisbane Lions. Fires it left, curls it back right. Brisbane have the opening goal of the match through Logan Morris in his 50th game. The Lions 1 straight 6 to Melbourne 1 behind. 5 minutes gone, opening terms. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
It was good instincts by Logan Morris. As soon as that ball turned over on the wing, as we mentioned, Brodie Mychek drops the mark. It's Berry who ran straight at the Melbourne defence, unsettled them and just was able to kick it long and high. But Logan Morris had made really good position out the back, told him exactly where he wanted the ball. basic forward craft, but in your 50th game, just a great sign for the future for that young man.
So a goal in game number 50 for Logan Morris.
Already made too, that fella.
Yeah.
Two flags in 50.
I was about to say, it's an incredible record, isn't it? So 14 players out there today for Brisbane that have played in both flags, and then a further 3 that have played in one. Here's Lockie Neal in game 300 with the clearance. High kick inside 50. Petty punches it away. Charlie Cameron's onto it in the pocket. Zigging, zagging. Caught by Howes. Did well. Cameron gets a handball out. Onto it, Will Ashcroft. His handball picked off by Howes. Handball to Tolstrup, and now Langdon clears for Melbourne from the back pocket.
It's up towards half back, where an excellent mark is taken by Jefferson.
Good tackle by Howes, wasn't it? Not an easy man to bring to ground. Charlie Cameron at full speed.
Matthew Jefferson sends Melbourne up the wing. Big present from Van Rooyen. Can't take the mark. Crushed over the top of Chandler. And Melbourne pick it up through Sharp. Kicks up towards a 2-on-1. Mycheck over the top against Gallup. Out the back. Langford gathers. Runs away from Berry. Top of the goal square. Just jags it in on the left. Goal umpire went racing to his left. Not sure he hit it off the sweet part of the boot, but did get it through the major opening. And the Demons answer back. And they're back in front by a point. 1-1-7 to the Lions, 1 straight 6. 7 minutes gone, opening quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
And we are on Jig Watch too, after every Melbourne goal. That's the music we'll be hearing through the afternoon.
Oh, is that for us or the players? I'm happy to jump in at some point.
And/or.
Yeah. do the players know when they run into an open goal that the umpire is not a goalie?
Yeah.
That looked like
he's trying to avoid him.
Top
it
corner.
Looked like the World Game. It's
Top
like,
buckets.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not sure which side he's going to go. I'll put it in the back corner of the onion bag. Not necessary in this game, fellas.
He's normally in a pretty good spot to aim at, really, the umpire, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just kick it to him.
The back corner or the top corner, Bob?
I'm more of a Chip the goalie guy.
Does make me think of Ty Kennelly when he got his premiership medal with the Irish jig. He did a little dance up on the dais, didn't he? As the Lions win it on the wing here. Bailey away to Neal. Kicks inside 50. Lohman getting up high. Doesn't quite drag in the mark. Out of play it goes. And a throw in.
Good pronunciation of Tig there too, Benny. Just didn't go with the Taj, which may have earlier in the call.
And that would have shown a real crack in his craft there.
Thrown in, Gawn and Draper. Gawn slaps it over the back in that famous number 11. Levi Ashcroft threw back the arms, wanting a free kick. Not paid. Down low. Sharp gets a toe poke out to Langdon. That works. Hand pass to Latrell Pickett, and he loves a run. 2 bounces at right half back. Now at 30, runs the Shane Warne stand side wing. Hand pass over the top to Chandler. Gave it to Cozzy. Pickett to Pickett at right half forward. He looks up, centering kick. Beautiful to Sharp. And that's what Melbourne can do. Breakneck speed. And when the Pickets are involved, look out.
And really good. You talked about Mycheck before, Bob. His role in that was absolutely critical. He had no involvement physically, didn't touch the footy, but as the ball came out and Latrell Pickett was running towards him, he was sort of the long outlet, and he just went back to goal. He just bolted as fast as he could back to goal, dragged the defender, which created the space for them to draw the next defender, and they leapfrog them all the way down. They get a shot for goal.
He's a real linchpin for them, Brody Mycheck.
Harry Sharp, the former Brisbane Lion, likes it off the boot from 40 metres out and grabs the Melbourne jumper. Passion on display, bouncing off a few of his teammates. He's having a good season as well. 7 goals so far through his opening 6 games, and the Irish music rings out once more. Melbourne by 7 points, 2-1-13 to Brisbane, 1 straight 6. Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
Don't worry about Bob Murphy doing the Irish jig. They're doing it down here, hands full of beers and toes are tapping.
Yeah. I can see these 2 little kids in the front row, sort of to your left, Ray, and they're doing the jig hard up against the fence. It's a great vibe, really.
It's magnificent.
Lord of the dance. Should be more of it.
Good crack.
A restart in the middle. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Matt Lynch, Ben Cameron, Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford out of the middle go Melbourne again. Steele kicks long to full forward. Harris Andrews rids himself of Van Rooyen, takes the mark at fullback.
Big challenge for Van Rooyen today. We've seen him 3 times, you and I have. We've seen him hot, we've seen him cold, and then we saw him sort of work his way through it. Harris Andrews, probably the toughest assignment in the game if you're a key forward, especially a young one. bit of a mixed bag early.
Love seeing him launch at the ball a couple of plays ago. That was a good sign.
The Lions through the corridor, just on Van Rooyen. 6 goals in round 1, which we did. They had 1 goal in the next 4 weeks. So there's been a little bit of a famine or a feast as Neil kicks the Lions up to half forward, and Bruce Reveal takes the mark, 60 from home, chips it towards full forward. Up they go, Lohman, unable to come down with it. In front, Taylor tried to take the mark for Melbourne. Ball on the ground, and still the debutant scrapping after it, and a ball up 30 out from the attacking goal for the Lions. Melbourne by 7, 11 played.
Steer clear of potato famine talk today. Still a sore point for a lot of us.
Tap down for the Brisbane Lions. Howell's trying to gather against the boundary line, end over end. Tough one for Cully. Bruce Revel was clean. Hand pass to Neil. Back to Bruce on the right. From the left forward pocket, it's across the face of goal. Petty's underneath it. Rising aerially was Morris. He couldn't take it. As now Petty lays the tackle on Rayner. And it is going to be rewarded. Free kick going the Melbourne way. In the back pocket, and Harrison Petty will take it. Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
Yeah, that's the one that was on Dimmer's lips yesterday. It's no prior opportunity. Legal tackle. Got to make a genuine attempt.
Oh, shocking kick. A cold turnover. Grabbed by Cameron. Snaps and goals. Cameron brilliant from the pocket. It was a calamitous moment for Harrison Petty on the kick across the goal mouth. And Brisbane take full toll. 2-1-13 Melbourne. Brisbane 2 straight 12 minutes played. Opening term, Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Oh, don't do me like that, Harrison. That's your worst nightmare as a defender. Going across goal, dangerous players around, and it's just a shank. It's off the inside of the boot, barely hit the boot. And of course, when you have the worst moment of your day, it usually ends up in the hands of the most dangerous opposition player, and Charlie Cameron makes the difficult look pretty easy on that occasion.
It wasn't that easy. You're right. It was a really difficult finish. On the left, closing towards the boundary, and splits the middle. He's a good player.
Bob Murphy and Dan Harford with you on ABC Sport. Melbourne by a point. Back in the middle of the ground. A chance for the Lions through McCluggage. Couldn't get a clean clearance away. Sparrow just squeezed the kick up towards half forward. Awkward bouncing ball for Sharp. Mychek tries to slap it to Windsor. Could have been taken high by Gallup. And the non-officiating umpire realises that. Free kick for Melbourne at the edge of the centre square. Caleb Windsor looks into the pocket, sends it in the direction of Van Rooyen. He's wrestling, and Leicester makes the spoil with support from Harris Andrews, and it goes out of play. Right forward pocket for the Demons at the punt road end. It's the D's leading by a point. Meanwhile, over at Docklands, still North Melbourne's way by 50 points. 15-8, 98 to the Tigers, 6-12, 48. 12 minutes gone, final term.
Forward 50 stoppage here for the D's. Van Rooyen palming it down. Wilmot just jams it on the boot, trickles it up towards the wing. Clever kick in the end. I think he wanted to avoid it going out. Lohman gathers, gets rid of it to Morris, who gives it to Dunkley. Good kick in front of Lohman, who's running down that wing. He shanks his. It tumbles inside 50. Gathered by Turner, and the D's back the other way. A good kick for Cully. Marks very wide out on the worn wing. Melbourne by a point.
Comes inboard for Sharp. Spoiled by Fletcher, but crossed the arms in the end. The chopping of the arms. So free kick going Melbourne's way through. Sharp plays onto his left. From the middle of the wing, long inside 50. Jefferson's at the back and in from the side. Nice. An excellent mark from Ty Gallup. The forward come defender, hoping to fill some of those holes with the injuries for the Brisbane Lions. Switches it to the captain. Harris Andrews works it from half back. Here's Zakostelski, who marks at right half back for the Lions. The late in for Darcy Ford, who's out through illness, and out to Levi Ashcroft by foot. He marks at right half back. Melbourne by a point. 15 minutes gone, opening term at the MCG. Call to play on. Chips it to his brother, Will Ashcroft. Melbourne fans asking if that's 15. The umpire pays the mark. Brisbane showing good patience back inside the defensive 50 to Harris Andrews. And he now switches all the way to half back where Gallup has it. We're back where we started, Benny.
Certainly are. Gallup driving ball out to the wing. Trying to get it to McCluggage. Right there with him is Taylor, the debutant. Halves the contest. Now to play for a throw-in.
We've had many players in the competition with the initials ZZ.
ZZ Top?
Surely not.
No, I don't think so.
He's the first.
Zane Cordy, no. And then I don't have a lot
That's
after
about
that.
Any Zacks? Well, there's a few Zacks going around.
That's true.
He's definitely the first. As Latrell Pickett gathers the footy and gets a handball away towards Sparrow, who's tackled out, and the ball goes out. Ray Chamberlain, what are you looking at right there?
Yeah, that was, again, tackle legal, no prior opportunity, given a reasonable time to make a genuine attempt. Pretty subjective.
Just quickly looking up AFL players with the surname Z as it's thrown back in. Gets to the back of the pack. Sharp lays the tackle. Umpire is going to ball it up. You got one for us, Ray Chamberlain?
Zanotti.
Zanotti is on the list. Dane Zorko would normally be out there for the Brisbane Lions is on the list. 0437 774 774 as Will Ashcroft takes it at half forward. Hand pass inboard to Bailey, dodging and weaving to Dunkley, to reveal at half forward. Sidesteps the sharp tackle. Now to Fletcher, inside 50, steadies, classy finish. Brisbane just shared it nicely until they got it in the hands of the right player, and Jasper Fletcher did not make sure that they wasted their chance. Brisbane take back the lead by 5 points, 3 straight 18 to Melbourne 2-1-13. 16.5 minutes gone opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
There's a lot of talk about the Ashcroft boys, and rightly so, but that boy Fletcher is a seriously good footballer. That's a gorgeous finish. Bruce Revell has been involved a couple of times. It's an important passage of play across half forward for Brisbane this first term, but that's just class.
It's a two-step, loaded up bang.
52, two-step bang straight through the middle. Did not even bother watching it after he made contact.
He lives with the Ashcroft boys. They're close friends, and he represents himself beautifully. Another son of a gun. Will he end up in the midfield, do you think, Half and Murph?
I don't know why you would. I think he's incredibly valuable behind the ball in what he does, because he defends really well and he rebounds really well.
Well, this is a bit more of the anti-flank movement that's in the media. And Ben, you're pushing it as much as anyone. Not everything has to end up in the midfield. Half forward, half back.
Just put your best players around the ball, I always thought. But
half back's the best place to play these days.
Hardest position in the field.
Fritsch loops a handball away to Cozzy Pickett. Left foot kick inside 50. A neat kick. Myercheck on the end of it. And he marks 25 metres out, 45-degree angle for Melbourne to try and snatch back the lead. We've already had 2 lead changes in this opening term.
Might be the most valuable demon out there, Brodie Myercheck. There, half, I said it.
There you go.
I went there.
Yep.
You said I wouldn't. You dared me, and I did.
I appreciate your courage.
I've been strong on it.
Brodie Myercheck, never goalless for the D's, and he won't be today. Swings it through to take back the lead. Melbourne 3-1-19. Brisbane 3 straight 18, and they are jigging in the aisles of the MCG. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
He's clearly not their best player. He may not even be in their best 10 players. But what he gives in terms of how much he makes other players better, and the structure that he gives them, and the worth and the value and the protection that he offers Jacob Van Rooyen, who's a young key forward, can't be understated.
Yeah, cool. Well, I couldn't agree more with you on that. He is structurally probably one of the most important pillars they have. And it was a great recruiting method. You talk about Moneyball.
Yeah.
We're talking about that on air or off air?
Off air.
Off air. We're talking Moneyball off air. That's a perfect Moneyball selection for Melbourne.
Melbourne by a point. Gawn and Draper, free kick in the middle of the ground going the Demons' way as Max Gawn just points to his leg against Draper.
Be careful what I bring up from off air.
Chips it over the top where the mark is taken by Cozzy Pickett. He veers out to the right, away from Kai Lohmann. Up towards half forward. Tholstrup's on his own. He's at right half forward, just outside 50. Gawn streaming inside the forward 50. He looks for Fritsch, who goes for a fly but can't come down with the footy. Spills the way of Rayner, gets the hand pass away to Berry. Brisbane trying to get out of defence. Andrews, quick hand pass to Rayner. Broke one, tackle Fritsch, trying to get around the pressure of Jefferson. Hand pass to Answorth, he turns it over. Turner takes the mark.
Good pressure, good setup from the D's. Well done. Get the ball back as quickly as possible. They put a heaps of pressure on.
They have the ball, forward of the wing, members side of the ground. They lead by a point, Melbourne. Turner sends it deep towards full forward. Up they go. Van Rooyen reels it in. Sticky mitts. 30 out, slightly left of centre.
Haven't seen the replay. We could probably expect that Brodie Myercheck is the reason Jacob Van Rooyen took that mark, because he's very, very valuable. But that is the best of Jacob Van Rooyen. His power and athleticism, when he's got rhythm and when he's got a free run to jump at the footy, he's beautiful to watch. In fact, he jumped against 3 lines and Brody Mychek wasn't even in the picture.
But
all the same.
I'll be on the bench, Brody, actually.
but all the same. I just feel like his fingerprints were on it.
7 goals in 5 games. 6 of those came in 1. He sneaks this through. Van Rooyen with the finish. And Melbourne extend their lead to 7 points. 4-1-25 plays 3 straight 18. Time on first term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
If you like the Irish jig, you're going to have a hell of a time listening to us this afternoon if the D's keep this up. They look pretty sharp. A couple of times, at a centre bounce particularly, they've looked really dangerous. And then that's the first time we've really seen them hunt inside their forward 50 and make it difficult for Brisbane to get out. So if they can add that to their centre bounce profile, it's going to be we saw their transition goal before when the Pickets got involved. So they can do that. If they can lock it in their forward half and make life a bit easier for themselves, and that's going to be a real addition to their game plan.
Is it the same Irish song all day? Or are we going to get a little bit of variety?
Lord of the Dance.
Okay. No Pogues, no Dropkick Murphys, no. Okay, righto, all good.
We might have to change that track if Melbourne are going to continue to kick goals. Gawn wins down the tap over the top of Draper. No chance to clear.
He won't Dropkick Murphy today.
Windsor on the very bottom of the pack.
I might.
Ben Cameron, Matt Clinch, Daniel Harford, Bob Murphy and Ray Chamberlain with you on the boundary this afternoon. Max Gawn goes to work over the top of Berry, who's going to be penalised holding the ball. Gawn just gives it straight to Cozzy. Not a bad option. Hand pass to Windsor was loose. Latrell Pickett gathers, sidestepping around Bruce. He chips it out towards Tholstrup, who gathers on the bounce. He tries to get around McCluggage, turns and kicks a bullet to the pocket where Jefferson comes in from the side and takes an imposing mark. Oh, Melbourne fans have wanted to see some of this. For Matthew Jefferson, who gets his chance in 2026. Melbourne's first pick in 2022, pick 15. And the question as to whether he can come in and provide some support alongside Van Rooyen and Mychek.
Jeez, he flew, didn't he?
Yeah.
Jefferson airplane. Bang. Let's see if he can kick straight, but that was a glorious hang.
195 centimetres, 22 years of age. Kicks a goal in 16 seconds on debut. He misses this time to the left, and you can hear the Bronx cheers as he misses everything. Wrong side of the left behind post, no change to the score. Melbourne by 7 points, 23 minutes gone, opening term.
Coming into this round, Melbourne, Richmond and West Coast were the only teams that hadn't won an opening term. The free kick there from Wilmot was very short away to Ainsworth. He was able to recover it by receiving the handball. It was Wilmot, moves it on to Gallup, who kicks out towards the wing, over the back from Draper, and now Reville onto it, kicking around the boundary line here for Brisbane. A good kick from McCarthy.
Look at Bruce follow up. He'll get this.
2 kicks from home, gives it off to Cameron. Cameron wants to get back off the mark, look into the pocket and deliver with pinpoint precision onto the chest of Rayner. 15 metres out, hemmed up against the boundary line, left forward pocket.
He seems like a bit of a structural breakdown in defence there for the D's. Cam Rayner, I mean, he's tied up against the boundary, but he was all by himself. 2 lines versus Harrison Petty.
Cam Rayner starting up against the advertising hoardings. Arcs out, goes the banana, and they're so good at those these days. It's like shelling peas, and it's back to a 1-point ball game. 4-1-25, plays 4 straight 24. We've played 24 minutes in the opening term. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
I reckon it's a byproduct, Bob, of the way that Brisbane transitioned the ball, because they were right on their defensive goal line.
Yeah.
Melbourne had pressed pretty high to try and lock that ball in, which we touched on in their previous goal. And then the penetration and the precision of their kicking along the outer side. It was like four kick marks sort of chains in a row, got them from goal line to goal square, effectively, just in the pocket of the goal square where that kick came from. So just precision kicking. We talked about how challenging it's going to be to defend all day. And when you've got now in the modern game where that pocket in particular, because most players are right-footers, is now something else you have to defend, where in the old days you didn't have to defend.
High expectations, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got a lot of work to do.
4 goals apiece for each side, 8 individual goal kickers. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Gone out of the middle of the ground, pinched by Will Ashcroft. Gets Brisbane back possession. Hand pass to Wilmot. To Ainsworth around the body. Up towards half forward. Tholstrup made the spoil on McCarthy. It races out in front of Draper and Windsor. They tangle close to the boundary line. It goes out of play.
I think I need a Bruce Reville t-shirt, though. I think he's becoming my man. really love watching him move up and down the ground today. Finds holes in the game.
It is a commentator's trap, though, to refer to him by his surname, given the crowd do shout Bruce, and there are a few Brisbane fans here this afternoon. The Fitzroy fans love to come out. Cully bounce into his own teammate and spills the way of Lockie Neal in game 300. Dribbles a kick in front of Bailey. Slick hand pass looking for Levi Ashcroft. He slaps it alive, trying to knock it into the path. In fact, it might have been Brother Will. It was. The flowing long blonde locks and trying to slap it to Charlie Cameron. It's rushed through for a minor score. Scores a level. 4-1-25 apiece, 26 minutes gone. Opening term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
We're pleased to know, Half, that Bruce Reville signed a 3-year extension during the week as
I saw that.
Tolstrup kicks up the middle. Drop mark by Ainsworth, allows in the Ds. Through the middle they go. Windsor just gets the handball away to Cozzy Pickett, who's got 3 lines to deal with. Strong tackle. They got him holding the ball.
Yeah, fair enough too, I reckon.
Yep.
Is that right, Ray?
Good from here.
Yep, he had plenty of pride, tried the sidestep, and Froggy Lester caught him. Brisbane ball as he moves it on to Berry. Kicks to half forward. Steele pinches it. Melbourne ball off their right back flank.
And past to Cully, has no one up the wing, so takes a bounce, runs his full measure, trying to get it Fritsch, who rise with Andrews in front. Brought down to ground level at the back. Lester supports him, races in, helped out the co-captain. Quick 1-2. Hand pass to Coleman and now to Berry. Brisbane from left half back. Up the wing with a kick that finds Morris. He hugs it to his chest. The key forward veers to the right. I'm going to try and switch, and he will so across half back. The kick on the bounce to Fletcher, who's showing no real urgency. Bit of a hum at the MCG as he slowly gathers the loose footy and then chips it up to Lockie Neal on the bounce. So play on's the call, feeds it back to Fletcher. Kicked a goal in this opening quarter, and now up to Bruce Reville.
Reville comes infield to the dual Norm Smith medalist, Will Ashcroft. Kicks out wide to Reville again in front of the members stand here at the MCG. Scores level.
Yeah, speaking of resumes, Will Ashcroft's pretty handy too, isn't it?
Very good. Reville. Low penetrating ball inside 50. No one able to mark. Gorn doing the roving. He's tackled by a couple of lines and just caressed down to ground level.
2 Norm Smith medals. Just when you
21.
said that out loud, it's like, that's pretty good.
Draper taps it down to Bailey on the move. Forward pocket for the Lions. He's dispossessed. Ford holding the ball, and Jai Cully will be the recipient. The young debutant Xavier Taylor was involved in the gang tackle. Cully kicks towards fullback and Langdon.
Langdon looks to switch out to Myercheck on the far side in a wrestle with Berry. Berry gave away the free kick, not facing the ball. And the crazy part, Bob, is we talk about Dustin Martin, 3-time Norm Smith medalist, and we often make the claim we'll never see that again. All of a sudden, if Brisbane get to a grand final, he's potentially one day away.
Yeah.
It's an incredible resume for a guy who's just at the start of his career, Will Ashcroft, just 21 years of age.
22 in 3 weeks.
High kick up towards Fritsch. He's outnumbered, and in the end, Lester supports Harris Andrews, and that's what Andrews does so well. In from the side, takes a good contested mark. Left half back for the Lions. Scores level, 4-1-25 apiece. Comes inboard to Wilmot.
And I've been watching him a bit too, just in this, obviously the first part of the quarter. Just the way he moves. He doesn't kill you with speed. It doesn't kill you with power, but he just gets to the right spots at the right time. It's all timing.
Mm-hmm.
When he was running in the forward pocket before after slapping it on, he was quicker than I thought I've seen from him, though, Half.
He's got some acceleration,
Yeah.
but he's not like...
Yeah, he's not
picking
blistering.
electric.
Yeah.
Andrews combined as they work it through Answorth, and now to Fletcher up the wing. The kick is over the head of Reville. Doesn't give Logan Morris a chance. An intercepting mark taken by Harvey Langford. He also has a goal for the Demons so far in this match on half-back with scores level at 25 apiece. Kicks up towards Fritsch. A 2-on-1. Jefferson in from the side. Brought it down to Chandler. Hand pass away to Laurie. Trying to cut around Will Ashcroft. Hand pass to Langford, boundary side. Dinks the hand pass over the top to Fritsch. Trying to get away from Coleman. Gave it back to Langford. A driving kick looking for Sharp. It clears him. Bounces towards the goal square. Berry panicked, knocked it back. He was taken high as he got it back to Dunkley. And the ball will come back to Jared Berry.
Berry, who missed the grand final last year with that shoulder injury. One of the 3 Lions players out there. We've only played in 1.
Oh, just one. Poor fella.
Berry
Congratulations.
kicks up towards the wing off the hands of the pack. It spits out after it Bailey.
A tombstone line, that, isn't it? Just the one.
Just the one.
With an asterisk. Could not be done.
Just the one. Only got the one. Sorry, guys.
4-1-25, each of 2. 30 minutes into this opening term. Sunny Sunday in Melbourne. Umpire brings it back in. Gawn lays it down, looking for Steele. Kneels out after it. He's tackled to ground by Laurie. Umpire crosses himself and will ball it up. And that will do it for the opening term. So the goal kickers for Melbourne, Van Rooyen, Langford, Myercheck and Sharp. While for Brisbane, Fletcher, Morris, Rayner and Charlie Cameron. Scores level at quarter time. So Melbourne still haven't led at the first change in season 2026.
4-1-25 apiece. Meanwhile, at Docklands, final stages of the match there. North Melbourne leading by 63 points, 18-10, 118 to the Tigers, 7-13, 55. So a big win coming up for the Kangaroos, in which Paul Curtis has booted 4, Trembuth with 3. So North Melbourne looking to try and continue their climb with the expectations starting to rise around them. You can get in touch with us on the SMS 0437 774 774. As Mark from Barwon Heads has done, love the Sunday commentary team. The Harford-Murphy comedy duo are an inspired pairing.
You're welcome.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Okay, ready?
Little listeners have a new space to get all their favourite podcasts.
Hooray!
Like exclusive new episodes of Bluey Listen Along.
Let's dance to celebrate!
Create a kids profile today by heading to the Kids tab on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Very driving kick inside 50. Out the back, the mark is taken. Logan Morris rises up. And a tough one for Harrison Petty caught in front. Morris in the right forward pocket. He's about 35 metres out from goal. He's looking to start things for the Brisbane Lions. Fires it left, curls it back right. Brisbane have the opening goal of the match through Logan Morris in his 50th game. Hand pass over the top to Chandler. Gave it to Cozzy. Pickett to Pickett. And right half forward, he looks up, centering kick. Beautiful to Sharp. And that's what Melbourne can do. Breakneck speed. And when the Pickets are involved, look out. Harry Sharp, the former Brisbane Lion, likes it off the boot from 40 metres out and grabs the Melbourne jumper. Passion on display.
A shocking kick, a cold turnover. Grabbed by Cameron. Snaps and goals. Cameron brilliant from the pocket. It was a calamitous moment for Harrison Petty on the kick across the goal mouth. And Brisbane take full toll. Fritsch loops a handball away to Cozzy Pickett, left foot kick inside 50. A neat kick, Myercheck on the end of it. And he marks 25 metres out, 45-degree angle for Melbourne to try and snatch back the lead. We've already had 2 lead changes in this opening term. Brody Myercheck, never goalless for the D's, and he won't be today.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Quarter time of the MCG and the two sides are level, 4-1-25 apiece between Melbourne and Brisbane. It's the annual Jim's match in honour of the late great Jim Steins and his contribution to Melbourne and the AFL. Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Ray Chamberlain is down on the boundary this afternoon. The thoughts of our experts, Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Well, a pretty even quarter of footy. The scoreboard would suggest it, but just watching the flow of the game would suggest it as well. Nothing really stands out in terms of a statistical anomaly at this stage. Brisbane had a bit more of the footy, but one of the things that we talked about pre-game was about what could Melbourne do and how would they fare against a real quality opposition who seem to be finding their form and hitting their straps in the last 3 weeks. So I think Stephen King at quarter time, Bob says, righto fellas, we've been able to show that we can match that. The challenge now is going to be doing it for long enough in this game against a team that we know will. We'll go all the way to the bell.
Yeah, I mean, Melbourne look like they've been able to challenge Brisbane offensively, and Brisbane they're a well-balanced, back-to-back champ. So we know they can do it. I suppose the one number which you alluded to before the game half is the amount of marks that Brisbane can take, and they're already up to 35.
Yep.
So that's a really high number. Melbourne just the 12, but just Melbourne's inability just to slow that number down. I imagine, as we look at Stephen King talking to his troops at the moment, that may be one of his priorities in terms of his talking points with his players, just to be able to get that team defence set and then be able to actually impact it and turn those marks into chaos balls that are on the ground where their little explosive types can can go to work. But even contest. I think we've got a good afternoon of footy ahead of us.
Yeah, it's the short kicks you'll be trying to get rid of. If you're Stephen King, you're trying to get rid of the short kicks. That's obviously where the most uncontested marks come from. So can you lock out that little bubble, that 30-metre bubble where the ball is, the mark or the free kick that Brisbane get is? Lock that out, take that option away and force them into long delivery down the line or wherever they want to go from that point in time, because then you can really set yourself behind the ball with a nice system and strategy and structure and then get it going back your way more often than not. So that's the challenge. Brisbane played a really fast speed though. They don't take a lot of time in between possessions. It's real rapid fire, three-step sort of kick stuff, and they just keep the ball in motion, which is tough to defend.
That power kicking, isn't it? There's kicking efficiency and there's good ball users, but they have players who all over the field that can kick with such power and accuracy low, so that the time of the ball movement is less. If you're trying to defend and Brisbane can launch into those low, hard passes, Rayner, Charlie Cameron, those types of players, Berry we saw on one occasion, it does unsettle opposition defences really well.
And that's why you can play wide. Because we see a lot of teams try and get back through the corridor and hit the 45s and laterals. But if you can penetrate, and the speed of the ball is quicker than the defence anyway, it doesn't matter which way you go. You can go as wide as you like. You're still going to get in your scoring zone quicker than they can defend you.
Ray Chamberlain's down on the boundary for us this afternoon. Ray, there's a sea of green in this Irish celebration and a pretty entertaining contest. What's it been like at ground level?
As the conditions have obviously turned it on and the players are doing the same, the ball movement, the high marks and the goals. And I will say this, a real buoyant mood amongst the crowd. I think this has been a great concept from the Melbourne Football Club with the cracking at the G, and looking forward to another cracking quarter.
Beautifully done, Ray Chamberlain on the boundary this afternoon. Full-time at Docklands, the Kangaroos by 75 points over the Tigers and 39 disposals for Harry Sheasel. So the Kangas bounce into the top 5 with their fourth win of the season fourth win over Richmond, I should say, in recent history. Second quarter underway, and it's Wilmot who gets the opening kick for the Brisbane Lions from half back up towards half forward. Bailey's the target, slaps it away from Langdon. And he tries to work in a phone box and gets a hand pass through the legs of Logan Morris. Did well, but that might be a lasso free kick. And the free kick taken by Berry. Opens up the angle from the top of the 50. Lever rises up and takes a good, strong defensive mark. Top of the defensive goal square at the punt road end for the Demons.
Was hoping for something Berry there rather than knowing when he played on. It was just a bit of a prayer kick to a poor spot.
Lever short to Langdon, who moves it out to Petty. Petty just hurries a handball. Lasso free kick. And Reveal to get it for Brisbane. Between wing and half forward. Has to be set back on his line by the umpire. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Scores level through the opening term. Early stages of the second. Reveal. High kick towards full forward. No one able to mark it off the hands of the pack. Langford there for the D's. Gives it off to Latrell Pickett. His kick a good one for the leading Jefferson. On the back flank. Gives it back to Latrell Pickett. He'll send his kick up to the wing. Can't find a target. And Harris Andrews.
Yeah, well done, Andrews.
Comes over and takes it for Brisbane. Feeds the handball to Berry. Berry loops it over the top. Away to Lester. Lester will dump a kick inside 50. Nobody really there. Taylor, the debutant. Big collision with Rayner. Ball hits the deck. Onto it, Tolstrup. Melbourne ball again. Heath's handball. Too hot for Cozzy Pickett. And now the D's emerge with it through Langford.
He's trying to get along to Gawn. One-on-one with Harris Andrews. The two captains colliding. Harris makes the spoil. Gawn after it. What a pickup. Hand pass out to Steele. Trying to work his way against the boundary line. A centering kick. Coleman goes racing in. Chandler there as well. Getting back, Lockie Neal. In game 300 to Fletcher. Brisbane avert the danger. Although McCluggage running back with a flight. Drop the mark. Fritsch comes sliding in. Tries to halve the contest. Reveal gets back for Brisbane. He gathers. The numbers win out. He chips it out to half back. Logan Morris presents. Can't take the mark with Lever in tow. And then Pickett lays the tackle. It's going to be a free kick coming back to Morris, who's held when not in possession for Brisbane.
Moves it out wide to Reveal. Making his way around that worn wing.
Coming up for game high 10 there for Bruce.
And busy. Moves it on to Kitty Coleman, who's one of those 5 Lions players we spoke about in the pre-game to have played in a grand final but not have played in a winning one. Kicks inside 50. Allen juggles it and marks it, I think. Reaching over his man, he got hands to it. And then sprawling, he completes the mark. 45 out, 45 degree angle, right of centre.
It hadn't looked like it. Really didn't really see much of him in the first quarter at all, did we? Oscar Allen, just going to the stat sheet. There's a reason for that. Didn't touch the footy.
Pretty lukewarm spoil there from Harrison Petty. Got himself in good position. Just about did everything right. 98% of the work. And instead of the fist, went the open palm and wasn't enough.
Oscar Allen's drop punt is nice. Classy finish from the arc of 50 and wide out. And the Lions, they lead by 6 points. 5-1-31, plays 4-1-25. The first goal of the second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, lovely launch there from Big O. Yeah, looking check at the replay, Bob. Probably a fist would have been the go there rather than the open hand sort of slap from Harrison Petty. I'm sure you'll get some feedback about that from the coaching staff at some stage.
Fist or body.
One or the other, yeah.
It's so much good work.
It's in a good spot. Didn't back that contest, but it didn't for whatever reason. But the kicking action of Oscar Allen's never been in question. It's a really strong action. It was a beautiful finish. Good start for the Lions.
Fourth lead change of the match. It hasn't got out beyond single digits so far in this match. 4 minutes into the second quarter. Rising up, Draper wins down the tap against Heath. Socket away by Steele. Overrunning the footy, Latrell Pickett. Gathered by Coleman through the middle of the ground. Draper back. Dropped the mark in the end. Tholstrup gathers for Melbourne. Hand pass to Cozzy Pickett. Works it over the top to Langdon. He cuts on his right-hand side. Out to the broadcast wing. We're on the bounce. Langford should be able to gather. Corralled by Berry. He looks to cut on his left. Kick in hope, really, and no one's really there for Melbourne. Jefferson might have made high contact with Kadeem Coleman. And a late whistle, as you can hear from the Melbourne fans, resulting in a Brisbane free kick at half back.
Coleman just stabs it about 10 metres, I reckon, but the umpire says it went the required distance. Moves it on to Bailey, who goes back to Kitty Coleman. Now for Link McCarthy, leading in front of the members. Stand backward of the wing here for Brisbane. That short kicking game moves it on to Berry. Lions by 6 points. And they're in possession. Backward of the wing. Berry looks like he'll go longer. Does up towards the contest. Draper and Morris are down there. Lever spoils it down. Petty ends up with it. Melbourne ball. Handball back into the muck. Dunkley over the footy. They scrap after it. No one with a clean possession, and the umpire wants it.
That was good from Lever. They had a 2-on-1. The Brisbane Lions ahead of the footy. Lever left Oscar Allen. It came in and impacted that. Changed the dynamic forward now, but it was a goal-saving performance, team performance.
Draper takes it out of the ruck, turns it over with the kick. Petty to Chandler, and now the D's are away. Long kick on the switch. Van Rooyen in space.
He gathers and gallop after him. Hand pass to Fridge. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. Lazy hand pass over his shoulder, looking for Van Rooyen. Turns it over. Reville chips it up to Charlie Cameron. Gives it back to Reville. Brisbane looking to make them pay. To Rayner on the wing. Hand passes it back to Cameron. He looks up inside 50. They're lining up. Morris in front of Bailey. Takes the mark directly in front. And Bailey Fritsch puts a hand in the air at half forward to apologise, but he might have to do that post-game as well.
Yeah, well, Jacob Van Rooyen can also put his hand up as well. Just the handball to Fritsch wasn't to his advantage. Make him stumble, has to go back for it. Then Bailey Fritsch has a complete meltdown and decides to handball over his head to God knows what. Nothing for the Demons in terms of their advantage, and it goes up the other end for a shot at goal for the Brisbane Lions.
Directly in front from right on 50. Morris has one already in his 50th game. He misses to the right-hand side. Close to the man on the mark and a minor score. The Lions by 7 points. 6 minutes gone, second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
It was an effortless kick.
Yeah.
It went into the stand behind the goals, 5 rows deep. It's gone 65 without trying.
Went miles, didn't it? Tolstrup with the kick in. Ambles to the pocket. Kick to a contest. Through the hands there of Harris Andrews. Now Big Max Gorn bends over to pick it up. Handball for Latrell Pickett. Handball to Steele. D's on their back flank. Sparrow to Tolstrup. Chaining handballs. Now Cully in some more space. He'll break it up with the kick, and it's a good one to Howes. Lions by 7 points. Melbourne ball. Kicks forward to the wing. Howes away to Petty. Forward handball to the run of Langdon. His handball misses the target of Cozzy Pickett, but he goes back and gets it. Chips it inside 50. And Fritsch is on the end of it. 45 out. 5 metres in from the boundary line, left half forward.
One side of the ground to the other. We've seen that in a bit under Stephen King with this Melbourne team. I like it too. Team's try and defend you narrow. If you can get through that first possession on the lane change or the angle change, you continue that momentum. You can often find plenty of space to work in.
Wearing one of the most famous numbers in club history, Bailey Fritsch has kicked a goal against Brisbane in his last 12 games against them. He won't goal here. It falls short. Volleyball in the goal square and eventually swatted through by the Lions. So the lead cut back to one straight kick. 5-2 Brisbane, Melbourne 4-2. 8 minutes travelled, second term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Sleeveless today, Bailey Fritsch.
Yes.
Big week in the gym, perhaps. Subjective.
New batch of oil arrived in the
Maybe.
rooms prior to the
A
game.
bit of eucalyptus.
Wilmot brings the Brisbane Lions back in. Looking for Oscar Allen in front. Lever can't control the mark, and off hands it goes out of play. A boundary throw in.
Speaking of sleeves and colours and jumpers, I saw some fans walking in with the... What's the alternative Brisbane jumpers? Mulberry, is that colour deep sort of...
Oh, the deep maroon.
Deep maroon. It's a beautiful colour.
It's a nice colour.
It looks fantastic. Probably clashed with the Melbourne jumper today, but it's a beautiful jumper.
Dawn over the back to Sparrow, long towards the goal square. Van Rooyen in a wrestle with Andrews. It gets to the back, and Leicester rushes it through from minor score. So a 5-point lead Brisbane's way. 9 minutes gone, second quarter. Just a 1 goal Brisbane's way. Oscar Allen in this second quarter.
Leicester bringing it in quickly. Have to do it again. Not sure exactly why, but Will Ashcroft to...
I think the all clear had been given.
Yeah, Will Ashcroft to receive the kick. Has to go back to the goal square. Ray Chamberlain.
Yeah, they're not allowed to bring the ball back in until the goal umpire has signalled the score.
Thank you, Ray. It's the merit of having Ray with us.
Well, they made an error in the
rules
Hawthorn
official.
Geelong game then, because that last ball was brought back in very, very quickly.
Yeah, Ray Chamberlain.
Good spot on.
These... I was going to say bitter Hawthorn fans, but you guys won that game, so that didn't work out. Kick up towards the wing, pinched back by Melbourne. Tolstrup, handball knocked back to him.
Sick of you having a crack at us.
Petty picks it up, he's wrapped up. Lions by 5 points, 10 minutes into their second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I tell you what, it was hard for us commentators, Benny. You couldn't give the score because you saw the ball coming straight back in. Hawthorn led by a point, and everyone was a bit confused. Gawn just volleys it off the ground, got it up to half forward. Mycheck tries to get it down to Chandler. Feels so classy, slides in, takes position for Brisbane, chips to Lohman. He has it at centre half back. With a shaved head, he looks for options through the middle of the ground, trying to chisel a kick to Rayner, who runs on it beautifully. Away from Steele, from 55, sets fly and misses to the right. All opened up in front of Cam Rayner, but couldn't capitalise. It's a 7-point lead Brisbane's way.
Petty taking the kick in. Long out towards the back flank, and that's a neat kick. Finds Turner, who wheels and goes. Lost the glove this week, kicks up to the wing, and arriving late, Gallup punches it into row G. The Lions by 6 points, throwing coming on the wing.
So 33 marks uncontested in the first quarter, Bob, for Brisbane at 13 at the moment. So there's been a little bit of an adjustment from the D's defensively.
Lions with the last 2 goals of the game. Draper and Gawn. Gawn gets a hand to it, pinched by Will Ashcroft, emerges with it, left foot kick into the middle of the ground. Bad bounce there for Howes, but he goes back and wins it. Melbourne in possession, handball for Lever, a turnover. Oscar Allen has it, tackled by Lever, holding the ball.
Been good today, Lever. We know what he does as an intercepting defender when there's pressure on the ball up the field. But that was just one-on-one, hardcore physical pressure and a good tackle and free kick.
Lever sends it out to Jai Cully, who marks it right half back. Brisbane leading by 6 points, 5-3-33.
Oh.
So Melbourne 4-3-27. Inboard looking for Tholstrup, almost forced the turnover. Lohman awkwardly at the bottom of the pack, picked up by Oscar Allen. Hand pass chopped off by Tholstrup. Hand pass out to Cully, trying to redeem himself. Gives it to Lever. Nice side strip around Lohman. Risky kick, turns it over.
That's on me. That's my fault.
Cluggage takes it in front of Chandler. Brisbane through the middle of the ground. Ainsworth takes the mark. He veers right around Cozzy Pickett. He just held him as he got the kick away. Careful not to give away a free kick downfield. Petty slaps it away from Logan Morris. Melbourne through Fritsch, and they're out now. Latrell Pickett at left half forward. Takes the bounce. Now a second. Runs up to Wilmot. Cozzy. Latrell. And that's where it comes undone. Trying to make magic work in the left forward pocket. The Pickett's having fun. Just came undone at the last moment.
That would have been jig-worthy.
Yes.
The give and go, the tap back. If it had have made it, even if he hadn't have had a shot at goal, he would have been maybe half and either double jig.
Yep.
Jig.
It's not often done.
Just playing backyard footy, those two, aren't they?
For good reason.
Draper out of the ruck, just kicks up towards the wing, and a free kick will go the way of Lever. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Lions by 6 points. Melbourne ball backward of the logo, worn wing. Lever pokes it to the defensive edge of the square for Petty. Melbourne in a slow play. Petty eventually decides to kick up towards the attacking point of the square, hits his man Fritsch on his chest. He'll stop prop, kick central, Cozzy marks, not the 15, has to fend off. Now we'll look into the pocket, his kick not his best. Straight to reveal, turnover, Brisbane ball right half back. They led it by 6 points, 14 minutes into their second term.
He had Sharp, he just took too long.
I think the kick was intended for Sharp.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because he pinched in the end. McCluggage at half-back. Into the middle of the ground. Logan Morris to target. Lever spoils once more. Awkward bouncing ball for Howes. He still hasn't got it yet in the middle of the G. Zach Bailey putting the pressure on. Hand pass away to Sparrow. And now to Langdon. Chips it out towards Steele. What a mark taken by Levi Ashcroft. Slides in front. Takes back possession for Brisbane. Up towards McCarthy. Quiet start for him from left half forward. His kick is a turnover. Morris was trying to race back towards the goal mouth. And the mark taken by Daniel Turner.
Underrated skill defending that last metre. Brisbane do it really well and impact often.
Turner initially looked to come into the corridor, then decided to kick down the line looking for Gawn. Over the top comes Draper in a tangle. Gawn and Harris Andrews below. Hand pass from Cully into the middle of the ground. Steele, it was. Great hand pass away. Here's Sparrow up towards half forward. Myercheck out position.
MVD.
And juggles the mark.
MVD.
Over the top of Dunkley in a mismatch. Gives it to Van Rooyen. Back to Myercheck at right half forward. Pokes it into the pocket. And Chandler marks.
MVD to JVR.
I'm struggling to keep up with them all. And Melbourne are hoping it results in a GOAL. GOAL.
So close.
Yeah, it would have worked as well.
Close.
All in the delivery. Chandler in the right forward pocket. Melbourne are hoping to draw level once more. Chandler a few steps out, opens up the angle in the right forward pocket, curls it through superbly. Turns to the Melbourne fans and pumps his fist. The Demons locked level once more, 5-3, 33 apiece. Okay, Chandler with his first goal of the afternoon. And a goal apiece so far in this second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Acronyms aside, it was a nice build-up. And Brodie Myercheck, who's looked dangerous all day. Big contested mark. Not sure about the decision to handball straight away to his other key forward, Van Rooyen, but he got it back. And then just that kick inside 50. Had enough poise to find Chandler, and on the right side for the left footer, he looks to me half like a young forward who likes kicking goals.
Chandler?
Yep. Really comfortable with the ball in his hands around that area. Like, I've done this since I was 6 years old.
Yep.
I'll take care of it.
He's a good little player.
Zakostelski in the ruck, slapping it forward. Heath, he goes and follows up the big ruckman. We'll get another ball up. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Scores level as they were at quarter time, a goal apiece in the second term. Zakostelski wins the tap this time. Rayner looking to bullock his way through. Windsor pinches it. Handball to Laurie. Handball on, a turnover. Answorth takes it for Brisbane. Kicks up towards half forward. A hopeful kick. Cameron might get out the back. No, Petty recovers for the D's on the back flank. Off to Turner. His kick for Langdon is a good one. Marks just in front of the interchange gates. Members side of the ground of the MCG.
Works it over the top. Langdon to Langford. And he plays on. Comes into the middle of the ground for Sparrow, who marks at the edge of the centre square. Langford around the back. He rolls up on the left, long towards the goal square. Van Rooyen can't take the mark. Neil gets back. Hand pass to Harris Andrews. Wants to rush it through, and in the end, had to get around the padding of the post. Melbourne lead by that behind being rushed. 17 minutes gone. Second quarter on ABC Sport. As we welcome listeners to the MCG, it's Melbourne and Brisbane. The Demons leading by a point. Those who are joining us from Docklands, Matt Clinch alongside Ben Cameron calling the action. Ray Chamberlain down on the boundary. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford, your experts. Scores were level at 4-1-25 apiece at quarter time. The margin hasn't got out beyond single digits, and it's currently Melbourne who lead by a point.
It is Jim's game. Crack at the MCG, so you might hear a few Irish jigs
Well, they'll be hearing.
after Melbourne goals as Lever intercept marks on the wing, retreats back inside defensive 50 for Langdon. The D's are wearing the green socks as well as their navy blue with the solid red V and the navy blue shorts. Brisbane in their Fitzroy jumper and the white shorts. The D's work it quickly towards neutral territory on the worn wing, and Xavier Taylor, the debutant.
Sat across the aisle from Michael Flatley on a plane one day.
Did you?
Did. He was the Lord of the Dance, wasn't he?
Did you?
Yes.
Did you talk to him?
No. No, he was otherwise engaged.
Famously, his legs were insured for big dollars.
Yeah, I do
they said
remember
back
that.
in the day. Yeah.
Fair enough too, they were.
Yep.
Weapons.
Leicester from half-back. McCarthy's had her interrupt. Coleman kicks inside 50 and Cameron takes the mark leading up. Slightly left of centre. He'll shoot from about 45 metres out.
I thought you meant the broadcast when he said slightly left of centre.
Charlie Cameron has one so far. All
We
individual goal kickers.
probably should fact check that someone could have their legs insured.
Oh, I reckon it'd be spot on.
Really?
It's worth millions, that show, Lord of the Dance.
But just the
0437
legs?
774 774 is the SMS number. Charlie Cameron from on 50 looking for his second. Squeezes it in. Fired it towards the right goalpost and it held its line. And Brisbane lead by 5 points as this match continues to swing in single digits. We had the 3 lead changes throughout the opening quarter. And Brisbane now by 5 points. 6-3-39 to Melbourne 5-4-34. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. 20 minutes gone, second quarter.
It's not much of an arena spectacular if Michael just stands there waving his arms.
No, well, no, I
Can't use
know.
his legs.
But just, I mean, if for the legs to be insured, I mean, the rest of him has to show up.
Yeah, but you can't do it without legs.
He can't just send the legs in half to go on tour. He's very good, but he needs to be all there, all in, Flatley.
Charlie Cameron, the first multiple goal kicker of the afternoon. Lions out by 5 points. We've never had anything other than single digits, as Clinchy mentioned. Heath doing the ruck work, follows up. He's tackled to ground, though. Dispossessed, and the Lions quickly back the other way. McCluggage just shoved as he kicked by Cossie Pickett. It ricochets around 50, picked up by McCarthy. Kicks to full forward. Morris Lohman, no mark taken. Bailey's onto it. Snaps. Misses. Just right of the goalpost. So the Lions lead out to one straight kick. 6-4 plays 5-4. 20 and a half minutes into the second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Tholstrup brings Melbourne back into play to Ed Langdon, who marks in the back pocket. He sends it long up towards the Shane Warne stand side. In the end, Turner and Cully almost competed against each other. Turner rises and takes the mark.
Zach Bailey been fairly quiet this afternoon so far for Brisbane at 7 disposals. No real influence.
And past to Howes of Melbourne up towards half forward. Mychek takes the mark, kick smothered by Leicester, spills to Cossie Pickett. He fires a bullet towards the goal square. Heath gathers. Can he take back a goal? He misses. The wrong side of the right goalpost. Did everything. The ruckman to try and get in position, and now he's got in the way of the player trying to take the kick in Darcy Wilmot. To be fair, the umpire hadn't given the all clear. Max Heath trying to kick his first goal in his U colours. Not to be.
Kick in from Wilmot, away to Fletcher, who then moves it on to his housemate in Will Ashcroft, who goes to the other housemate in Levi Ashcroft. Short back to his brother Will, not the 15. He's tackled to ground and caught holding the ball. So Melbourne back with it, 60 out from goal. Turner to get the free kick after the tackle. Turner kicks it long towards full forward. Up they go. Leicester punches it away. And it will trickle out. Throw in inside 50 here for the D's. The Lions by 5 points. 22 minutes played, second term.
Going back to our quarter time discussion, it's blocking out those marks, those uncontested marks of short kicks. You're forcing them to do really, really short kicks because of the space you're closing if you're the Melbourne defence at the moment. So that's pleasing.
Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport. Brisbane leading by 5 points. Thrown back in. Van Rooyen's dragged down. Zakaskelsi in a tangle with him, and the free kick going Brisbane's way. The third gamer will take it in the right back pocket. Interestingly, he's played about 16 or 17 minutes. Max Heath has played sort of similar, so both are playing really as that fifth player on the bench, just getting some limited minutes. To Wilmot in the back pocket, switches it to Fletcher in the right pocket, and now works it up to Levi Ashcroft. He marks it right half back. As Logan Morris working a long way up the wing. He marks uncontested in front of Jai Cully. Turns and comes inboard. Gives it back to Levi Ashcroft. He has to push back behind his mark and momentum is lost a little. Brisbane leading by 5 points. Levi Ashcroft back to Wilmot.
Gee, they share the workload off the ball, Brisbane, with their running. That's why they're able to generate so many marks. It's not just left up to a few key players. They are all moving, creating space for one another, which puts the opposition under duress and space opens up.
Neil gave it back to Wilmot, to McCarthy, chips it inside 50. Morris leads up. Cameron just put a little block on Howes and allowed Logan Morris an easy spot-up lead, and he marks pretty much directly in front from a similar range when he kicked his previous goal.
And when you do that, Bob, you get defenders or guys who are defending make half decisions. They don't commit to something, and then a gap will open up, and Brisbane are just so good at seeing that, identifying that situation. Like they did on that occasion to get it to McCarthy.
Yeah, the defenders can start to retreat, and that's when you do play on your heels a little bit, but just because of the constant movement of the opposition.
Logan Morris in his 50th game has one already, has missed one. This looks good off the boot. Straight through the middle. And this young 20-year-old's prospects continue to rise as Brisbane are out by 11 points, 7-4-46 to Melbourne 5-5-35. The Brisbane Lions with 3 goals to 1 so far in this second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford.
Anne Marie's come in from Dandenong saying they were insured, those legs too, by the way.
I was about to get to that. 0437 774 774. As per Wikipedia, insured for £25 million.
Just the legs.
Just the legs.
12 and a half each.
Just in case you forgot to pack them one day and somebody pinched them,
okay,
you get 25 mil.
Suggestions that Daisy from the Dukes of Hazzard also had her legs insured.
Did she?
I don't know about these half. This has
Saw her
gone to territory I wasn't sure about.
Saw her on Instagram today. She popped up, Days.
Did she?
Yeah. Back from Hazzard County.
Restart in the middle.
That can set the algorithm off.
Steele kicks it straight up and down, and Kadeen Coleman bravely marks underneath it at centre-half back and releases Will Ashcroft. The dual Norm Smith medalist galloping down the members' wing. Stops for a moment. Feeds Reveal. Lines at half forward now. Onto Dunkley. Game 200. Feeds it onto Lohman. In the forward pocket. Kai Lohman. Left foot kick. Floats towards goal. Lands for Draper. And he whacks it through. Sam Draper sets off in celebration. And the Brisbane Lions are starting to get control of this match. 3 consecutive majors. 8-4-52 plays 5-5-35. 25 minutes into the second.
Well, the Brisbane Lions their algorithm for kicking goals has gone off in the last little while. Bob, 8-4 from clearance is probably giving them the chance to get the territory they probably didn't get in that first term. And then it's just the efficient ball use, which is causing havoc as well. I mean, that was a little bit of a floater from Lohman to the top of the square and a bit of a hope, but they really have seemed to be able to dominate territory the last little bit. And Melbourne, whilst they've defended well, haven't been able to get past them.
They're defending well to a point. You can see that they've set themselves up. They're forcing Brisbane wide, but Brisbane are so skillful and they move the ball so quickly that they end up making it through anyway.
Down to Ray Chamberlain in just a moment. Corner out the middle. Squeeze to kick up to Latrell Pickett. Hand pass to Sparrow inside 50. Jefferson can't hang on to the mark, and now he's tackled by Lester. Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
Spot on, I reckon.
Thanks, Ray. 3 goals in 6 minutes for Brisbane as they take control of this match from the stoppage. Spills away at Van Rooyen. Outside of the boot, misses to the left-hand side. And a minor score. Brisbane by 16 points. 27 minutes gone. Second quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport after North Melbourne defeated Richmond by 75 points.
Ray's whistle could have been insured for a bit there for a while as an umpire.
No doubt.
Not flatly numbers, but...
Coleman kicks out wide and diving Max Gorn low down. Just bobbles it out of play, so a throw in to come. We will speak. Alex Wetton, the umpire, got cleaned up yesterday by Tuke Miller. So dislocated his shoulder, popped it back in. I think he completed the game. We'll ask Ray about getting cleaned up while he was umpiring. I think Ray had one incident of it at least as Gorn taps it down, but Brisbane pinch it through Lohman. Off to Will Ashcroft, kicks around the wing, turnover. And Turner marks, backward of the wing here for the D's.
A couple of gut punches as well. We'll be waiting to see the match review officer's findings as Sparrow from half back to Steele. Sends Melbourne inside 50, looking for Jefferson. He and Cully are both there. Neither can take the mark. Fletcher has it locked to his chest as Max Gawn just drives him into the turf. The umpire will ball it up 35 metres out from the Demons' goal at the City end. Brisbane by 16 points after scores were level at quarter time. Gawn out of the ruck. Tackle, dispossessed. Was that holding the ball?
Bit
Not
lucky,
paid.
Max. Bit lucky, Max.
Neil, hand pass to Levi Ashcroft into the middle of the ground. Rain up, bumped out of it by Daniel Turner. He played on though, stepped off his line, and now he has to square a kick out towards Langdon. Out right half forward, drives Melbourne inside 50, but it's a 3-on-1 against Jefferson. Oscar Allen's got back. He tries to slap it in the path of Answorth, who now lays the tackle on Cully. Spills out. Langford lost it. Gathered by Levi Ashcroft. Kicks out towards halfback. And that'll do us. A half in the books, and Brisbane lead by 16 points off the back of 4 goals to 1 goal for in that second quarter after scores were level at 25 apiece at quarter time. So Brisbane looking to continue with their charge, having won their most recent games, and Melbourne having lost to the Bombers last week. The goal kickers so far, all individual goal kickers for the Demons, while 2 goals to Logan Morris and to Charlie Cameron. Individuals to Rayner, Draper, Oscar Allen and Fletcher, while for the Demons, Van Rooyen, Chandler, Myercheck, Langford and Sharp are the goal kickers for the Ds. Brisbane by 16 points at half-time. The thoughts of Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport.
Well, further to one of your comments before, Bob, after the Draper goal, the way that Brisbane were able to move the ball in that term, all 4 goals came from back half. So that sums it up beautifully. They score because they can maintain possession. They move the ball so efficiently. They're so skillful. They're happy to toe the boundary, go all the way around the boundary line if they need to, but they'll find a way to score. So that's the challenge for Stephen King and the Melbourne players today. The threat's probably not going to be through the corridor. The threat is actually going to be around the boundary line or in the outer edges of the ground, which teams traditionally don't try or practice to defend.
No, that's usually the goal against a lesser opponent, and Melbourne haven't come up against an opponent quite like Brisbane just yet. It's difficult because I think there'd be maybe even some confusion within the Melbourne camp because they'd be thinking, gee, I feel like we're doing a lot right here in the way we're setting up, communicating. It feels like their defensive setup and intensity is at about 95%, and when you get Brisbane with a run on, they're so skilled, they don't need much space. They're happy to go around the boundary. They move the ball quickly, they kick it hard, they kick it low, and they've got quality all over the field. So that 95% needs to get closer to 100 if they want to actually impact and stop them up the field, let alone letting them go all the way through to hit the scoreboard, because it definitely tilted in their favour in the second half of that second quarter.
The thoughts of Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford with you at halftime. North Melbourne winners by 75 points over the Tigers at Docklands. Their biggest win in 7 years for the Kangas, who are now 4 wins and 2 losses. Their biggest win against the Tigers since 1997. And still to come, Western Derby number 62 as the Fremantle Dockers and the West Coast Eagles match up in the biggest game in the state for season 2026. On the SMS 0437 774 774. Brendan from Hobart says Ray has been on the cashies in northeast Tasmania the last few days. There you go, Ray. Like Prince Harry, can't go anywhere without being recognised. We'll bring you some more of that and the thoughts of Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford on the other side of the ABC News.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Shipping is again restricted in the vital Strait of Hormuz oil artery, with Iranian forces reportedly opening fire on vessels in the waterway after the US refused to lift its blockade of Iranian ports and ships. More from Tim Swanston in the Middle East.
At least 2 vessels reported to the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organisation that they'd been attacked. In one of those incidents, a tanker reported that 2 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps gunboats opened fire. In the report, the tanker said the gunboats approached, didn't issue a challenge over the radio, and then fired at the tanker. The crew were reported safe. India has confirmed that 2 Indian-flagged ships were attacked as they attempted to cross the Strait of Hormuz. India's Ministry of External Affairs called in the Iranian ambassador to India, and India's Foreign Secretary conveyed deep concern at the shooting incident and the firing on merchant ships.
The Israeli military says one of its soldiers has been killed in combat in southern Lebanon. It says 9 other soldiers were wounded, including one who was severely injured. The report comes as the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon enters its 3rd day, with Hezbollah militants saying they're complying. At the same time, Hezbollah denies any involvement in an attack on international peacekeepers in Lebanon that's left a French soldier dead. War veteran Ben Roberts-Smith has spoken publicly for the first time since being released on bail from a Sydney prison. The 47-year-old has been charged with 5 counts of the war crime of murder, alleged to have occurred in Afghanistan between 2009 and 2012. Speaking in Queensland earlier today, Roberts-Smith says he will fight the charges.
As I've always maintained, I categorically deny all of these allegations, and while I would have preferred these charges not be brought, I will be taking this opportunity to finally clear my name. I'm proud of my service in Afghanistan. While I was there, I always acted within my values, within my training, and within the rules of engagement.
The organiser of a fan convention says they're deeply saddened following a deadly incident that left a man in his 20s dead and another seriously injured as they were leaving the event yesterday. Police are interviewing the 33-year-old male driver of a car that mounted a curb and drove along the footpath, striking pedestrians outside the Ascot Vale Showgrounds at around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Event director Daniel Zakariou says his thoughts are with the family of the man who died and with the person injured who now remains in a stable condition.
All we can do is join in and send prayers and hope that they recover. And of course think of the family who lost their loved one and, offer any support we can in sympathy because, their precious soul, their precious person that's in their life is gone now.
The Western Australian Premier says the extension of a scheme to provide free public transport on Sundays will help provide some relief from cost of living pressures. The state government has announced public transport will continue to be free on Sundays for another 12 months. In addition, the Ride to School Free program, which provides students who have a valid smart rider with free travel to school, will be implemented permanently. Roger Cook says this could save a family with 2 school-aged children more than $500 a year. Mr Cook says about 8 million free rides have been taken on Sundays since the start of 2024.
These budget measures have made public transport more affordable than ever, and record numbers of Western Australians are now using buses, trains and ferries to go in, around and connect with their city.
A crime scene's been declared after a body was found inside a car in Queensland's Scenic Rim area. Emergency services were called to a car and grass fire on the Mount Lindsay Highway at Palin Creek, south of Rathdowney, at around 20 to 6 this morning. Police say a body was found inside the vehicle once the fire was extinguished. Investigations are continuing. Turning to sport now, and Carlton AFL Club CEO Graham Wright says the circumstances surrounding Elijah Hollands are unprecedented and complex. Amid questions about the decision for him to play against Collingwood on Thursday night, Hollands appeared to exhibit erratic behaviour during the game, with the club later stating that the 23-year-old suffered a mental health episode. Wright admits the club was aware during the game that Hollands was struggling, but did not comment on why he was not withdrawn from the contest earlier on.
We're looking into all that right now, and obviously we're part of that process has started, and obviously started on Friday or Thursday night after the game, and we're working through that now.
That brings up to date with the latest ABC News.
Are there any winners in the cost of living crisis? What's causing the algal bloom?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Kicks inside 50. Allen juggles it and marks it, I think. Reaching over his man, he got hands to it. And then sprawling, he completes the mark. 45 out, 45-degree angle, right of centre. Oscar Allen's drop punt is nice. Classy finish from the arc of 50 and wide out. And the Lions, they lead by 6 points.
Here's Sparrow up towards half forward, my check out position.
MVD.
And juggles the mark.
MVD.
Over the top for Dunkley in a mismatch. Gives it to Van Rooyen. Back to Myercheck at right half forward. Pokes it into the pocket. And Chandler marks. Chandler a few steps out. Opens up the angle in the right forward pocket. Curls it through superbly. turns to the Melbourne fans and pumps his fist. Lester from half back, McCarthy's had to interrupt. Coleman kicks inside 50 and Cameron takes the mark leading up. Slightly left of centre, he'll shoot from about 45 metres out. Charlie Cameron from on 50 looking for his second. Squeezes it in. Fired it towards the right goalpost and it held its line. And Brisbane lead by 5 points as this match continues to swing in single digits. We had the 3 lead changes throughout the opening quarter.
Feeds reveal, lines at half forward now onto Dunkley, gain 200, feeds it onto Lohman, in the forward pocket, Kai Lohman, left foot kick, floats towards goal, lands for Draper, and he whacks it through. Sam Draper sets off in celebration. And the Brisbane Lions are starting to get control of this match.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Half-time at the MCG, Brisbane leading by 16 points over the Demons, 8-4-52 to Melbourne 5-6-36. The Brisbane Lions took control in that second quarter with 4 goals to 1 goal for after scores were level at quarter time. Macklich and Ben Cameron calling the action. Ray Chamberlain is down on the boundary. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy are your experts on ABC Sport. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. G'day, Half. Malcolm from Barunga, listening to the footy driving from Darwin to Barunga. Cheers.
Population of about 300 people, Barunga, in Northern Territory. Malcolm does some great work in that part of the world. He's from a Tassie originally, big Hawks man, Bob, but has been up in Darwin for Northern Territory for a little while now, doing great things. Nice to hear from you. Nice to hear from you.
So the match review findings have just come through. We might come to them in just a moment. But a 1-game ban for Dylan Moore and James Sicily for their gut punches to Logan Evans. But the talking point of the day has been the events at Carlton. The CEO of the Blues, Graham Wright, fronted the media this morning. And here were some of his explanations around the handling of Elijah Hollands.
Since the game, we have been working through a thorough process surrounding the circumstances both leading into and throughout the match, and remain in close consultation with the AFL and the AFLPA. We are determined to ensure a considered process, not just an understanding of what happened, but to ensure the key learnings come from this, not just for us, but the broader football community and industry. While Elijah's welfare is front of mind, he will not travel to Perth this week with the team for the weekend's game, and we will work closely with Elijah on what's the next steps forward for him.
Was anyone at the club aware in game that Elijah was struggling on Thursday night?
We were aware that he was struggling in the game, and he's had, as I said, I'm not quoted on this. That potentially had anxiety previously and panic attacks, and our guys were dealing with him in the game. That obviously he was having some problems.
You mentioned off the top that the club's put the most resources they can into Elijah. Do you feel that was the case on Thursday night, or could you have done better as a footy club?
I think everyone's got the right and to ask those questions, and we're asking those questions of ourselves. And as I said, we're really determined to get to the, I suppose, a better solution for what happened in that game. But as I said, we understand people have got to ask those questions, and we're asking them of ourselves as well.
Graham Wright, the Carlton CEO who fronted the media this morning. Matt Clinch, Ben Cameron, Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy. So I did the program with Cameron Ling. We tried to unpack this as we just heard the comments from Graham Wright, who described it as a complex and unprecedented situation and said that they were aware that Elijah Holland was struggling and that the questions that were being asked around the compliance and the welfare and the handling of Elijah Hollands were valid questions, but there wasn't any clarity in terms of when they realised that he wasn't fit to be out on the field, which is his workplace, and how it was able to get to potentially 10 minutes into the fourth quarter before they discovered that perhaps he shouldn't be out there. And I think there are a couple of the key questions, Bob and Half, that we're all trying to work out as to how this can be handled better going forward.
Yeah, I watched that when it was happening this morning. I'm listening very intently to what Graham Wright was having to say. I think they didn't want to give too many answers because they haven't finished what they're trying to find out.
Is that surprising given this took place on Thursday night and we're now on Sunday?
Well, I think there's a few layers to this that perhaps takes a bit more of a deep dive and a longer conversation to work out exactly how we got to that point. I think I'm prepared to give him some slack here, I must admit. And even that line, there's been a bit of criticism about that line that we could see he was struggling in the game. My read on that was he was just struggling to play. He just was having a bad night.
Yeah.
That was my... As soon as he said that live when I was watching, I thought, oh, yeah, that makes sense, because couldn't get near it. So he was certainly struggling. And people seem to have the opinion that they knew he was having an episode and did nothing about it. I'm not sure that that's right.
No, neither am I. But I was on the boundary on Thursday night half.
Yep.
And at halftime, there were discussions in the media centre that it wasn't just that he was struggling to get the ball, but that he was running patterns that were unusual and
Yep.
there were eccentric mannerisms, for lack of a better term, that were unusual. So I think even the people around the media boxes by half-time had a little bit of an idea that this wasn't even just a bad day where he couldn't get near the football. And then in the second half, I was on the boundary, obviously, so I'm watching him very closely when he comes to the bench. It was actually quite sad. Like, it sort of became very evident that he was sort of struggling a bit more than usual. But it was very evident by...
Yeah, right.
That.
You've had a great insight into it. I was just watching from home on the couch. And I must admit, I didn't notice anything watching on the couch. And then you see the social media feed of the vision that probably most people have seen. You think, bloody hell, how'd they miss that? And I don't know how forensic, and you've been in the box, coach's box, Bob?
Yeah, coach's box and
are we looking at line coaches looking at players in areas of the ground? Is that how it sort of operates?
Yes. So one of the things that was fascinating to me going from being a player to then being in the coach's box or on the bench is how in tune coaches and teammates are, particularly staff, around a player's gait and their movements and whether they like it, how closely they're followed. I got to say though, I'm a bit like you, Half. When I woke up the next day, I watched the game, and then the next day going through and looking at all the social media and reading it and looking at it, I jumped headfirst into intense judgment. I was like, how many people have gotten eyes on this player who is their critical watch because of his past, because of his history? Like, when I say a watch, like the welfare element to it.
Yep.
Of he would be the first, like, just check in more so than any other player in that group, of just a bit of extra care and eyes of just, how's he going? Welfare, how's he going? How's he feeling? How's he looking? So I was stunned, and to the point of being a bit, almost like a bit angry, of just like, how can this happen? How can there be so many fingerprints on this and eyeballs of people, teammates, staff, coach, everyone? I just thought this is unacceptable, and I was angrier than that. And then as time has gone, I've found myself becoming far more curious and just taking a step back and thinking clearly mental health and these issues around individuals are so nuanced and complicated, and we looked through the peephole of that game, and I think Graham Wright alluded to there of days before, the history. So we're looking at it through the peephole. That's where I've sort of arrived at now, of thinking, do you know what? That they're working it out. So I can't have any harsh judgment, because I think that they genuinely care about the individual and player, and they want to investigate and look after him and find out what went on. But initially, I found myself being very critical of how an entire footy department could let that get to a point of in the last quarter, and now we're going to call it.
So Carlton have described it as a mental health episode, and I guess the further evidence will come as the review takes place. But having done the show with Cameron Ling, and I'm sure you'll have it, Bob, tomorrow when you do breakfast on ABC Radio Melbourne, the listener experience that we're able to explain to us some of the episodes that have taken place through mixing medication and sometimes some of the stuff that we're not aware of, as to what part that'll play in the investigation, whether that becomes public or not, it's unclear. But there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, and the Blues will go through their process, and hopefully we get some clarity, and most importantly, we don't have a player like Elijah Hollands in that position, if he's not right, to take the field. Most importantly, we want him to have the support. Correct.
And he's okay, hopefully.
He's with his family at the moment, so he is being supported, Graham Wright pointed out today.
He won't be playing this week, won't be flying west.
No, the other talking point was after the Gold Coast win over the Bombers, Damien Hardwick, which has been a very interesting talking point around the ruling of holding the ball, and given we have Ray on the boundary for us this afternoon, give us Dimmer's thoughts as to how he thinks the game is being adjudicated at the moment.
The holding the ball rules like chook lotto at the moment. I sit there and I don't know half the time what's going to happen. We've got a guy that's got an arm pinned. He's waiting for the ball to be called for a stoppage. And the other option is then the guy can dump tackle him. Just blow the whistle and cause it's like we've completely gone away from secondary stoppages because we think it kills the game. At the end of the day, we're going to get players hurt. So either blow the whistle on a free kick or at least be consistent in your interpretation throughout the whole game. Because there's one where Bailey Humphrey won a ball, got tackled straight to the ground. I'm not sure how that's holding the ball. Unless it's a rule change, let me know, sort of thing. I don't want to get angry. It's Saturday. I want to go home and have a beer and relax on the couch. So, yeah, but let's just fix it.
Damien Hardwick with his thoughts on the holding the ball interpretation at the moment. Ray Chamberlain is a part of our team. Ray, as you listen to those comments, what do you make of them?
What I make of them is more than one thing can be true. So I have a similar sentiment around the application of prior opportunity, more specifically, with holding the ball across the first month and a half of the competition in terms of Chook Lotto. But one of the comments that Damien made was around a player who's got an arm free and tackle and he's waiting for stoppage and waiting for a ball up. The laws of the game demand, and umpires have got to implement them, that if a player has an arm free, they must make a genuine attempt to dispose. They can't just secure the ball and look for stoppage. Damien makes a great point, right, around the balance of then a dump tackle and those sorts of things. But I think what's really clear here is if a player has not had a prior, is legally tackled, they must make a genuine attempt to dispose. If they secure that one arm and just secure the ball and look for secondary stoppage, the umpires are instructed to play holding the ball, no genuine attempt.
It's a great insight, Ray. And Toot Miller's been giving a $1,500 fine for making contact with the umpire. It's his first offence. Benny alluded to it. How common is that a player runs into an umpire completely unaware, and what can they try and do to prevent that?
No, these things do happen, you know. Obviously, it's a fluid game and people are moving and you try and miss a guy by a metre. I ran into a player down in North Hobart one day, hip and shouldered him flush on the chin, and I thought I was going to miss him and I didn't. So I got no doubt it was an accident.
Thank you, Ray, for your insights. Don't forget the ABC AFL Daily podcast with Benny and Half to take you through all the talking points. Brisbane by 16 points as we get the third quarter underway.
I heard Ray targeted that player.
That was the subtext. Pretty loud.
Secondary ball up. Gawn taking it out of the ruck. Fresh area and onto it. Lockie Neal gets the handball away to Coleman. Tumbles it inside attacking 50. Getting back. The mark taken by Turner. Defensively here for the D's. Kicks laterally to Howes. Fending the city end in this third term here, the Demons. Lions by 16 points. They kicked the last 3 goals of the first half to just establish that lead. Lever running off the back flank. Kicks up towards the logo. Contest. Myercheck hands to it. Andrews ends up with the footy for the Lions. Gives it off to Will Ashcroft. To brother Levi. Back to Will. Stopping. Propping. Left foot kick up to half forward. Oscar Allen in good position. Gets the jukes out. Doesn't quite complete it. Earns a free kick though. Too far out to score, you would think. 51 metres out. He'll look into the pocket. Up goes Morris and he'll get a free kick. Front on contact. Going back, Jefferson impeding, and the free kick going the way of Logan Morris. 25 out, tight angle right forward pocket.
Will you allow me to have a bit each way here, Half?
Yes.
So, Brisbane have still been able to chip their way around boundary line and get themselves into a scoring position, but on each occasion, Melbourne have been there to put serious pressure on.
Yep.
So that 95% theory that I gave before, it has lifted, but not quite high enough at the moment.
Logan Morris is going to go with the left foot snap from the forward pocket. It's across the face and through for a behind. So Morris Minor.
Oh, yeah, nice.
8-4-53 plays 5.
Nice.
8-5-53 plays 5-6-36. 2 minutes in to the third term. Ray Chamberlain.
Yeah, some updates at halftime. Jared Berry out with a calf strain.
No good for him. Thanks, Ray. Tholstra brings the Demons back into play up towards Jacob Van Rooyen. Sport away by Harris Andrews. And the ball goes out of play.
It's not very good for the Lions' midfield depth today.
And it feels like they've struggled to get their best team out on the park all that often. 1 match bans for James Sicily and Dylan Moore offered for their gut punches to Logan Evans. The other one was Zach Butters. Got a little $1,500 fine as well for striking Sam Butler. He's, of course, facing the tribunal tomorrow, trying to appeal his decision from the start of the week against Nick Foote. From the clearance, quick kick inside 50 for Brisbane. Langdon gathers, hand pass to Latrell Pickett. Away to Steele, and now to Tholstra. 1-2 with Gawn. He runs the boundary line, and Langford streaming away at half-back. Sends it up to the wing. The loose player in defence was Harris Andrews, and kick went straight to him. Takes the mark for Brisbane. Comes inboard to Coleman.
Coleman just pokes it to centre half back for Rayner. Lions by 17 points, overshoots his target. Lohman turns it over. Langdon back the other way for Melbourne. Gets rid of the handball, away to Fritsch. Kicks inside 50 for Myercheck. Tumbling to ground, drops the mark. Onto it quickly. Swinging shot on goal from Chandler. And it's wide of the target. Just dumping it on that left boot. Couldn't quite bring it back enough. Another minor score, so Brisbane's lead 16 points, 3.5 minutes into the third term.
Lester into Rayner, who marks in the back pocket. Chips Brisbane out of defence, and Kadeem Tolman takes the mark at left half back. The Lions 8-5-53 to Melbourne 5-7-37. Coleman with no real options, just sends it long up the wing. Draper's the target, in from the side. Turner supports Lever. And off hands it goes out of play on the Shane Warne at stand side. There's the annual Jim's game here at the MCG in honour of the late great Jim Steins, his contribution to Melbourne and to the AFL. So we've got a sea of green, we've got the Irish songs and jigs after each Melbourne goal, not for Brisbane. We have been enjoying the festivities as Wilmot just squeezes a kick out on the full, and it'll be going back Melbourne's way. The free kick at right half back to be taken by Turner.
Fritsch will come over and pinch that kick. Says, I'll take that. On the back flank, just veers out Bailey Fritsch. He's trailing by 16. Contest kick, up they go. Hands to it, Jefferson. Doesn't come down with it. Van Rooyen roving the pack. Out to Latrell Pickett. He fumbles it. Neil doesn't. He never does. Lions with it as he gives it to Wilmot. Off to Kadeem Coleman. Back to Neil. Now breaks it up with a kick infield.
That's
Hansworth punched away from him. Chandler punches it away. Back into the muck for Melbourne. Van Rooyen. Forward handball. Away to Jefferson. Now Chandler. He's got men breaking everywhere. Langford is one of them. He marks, runs in, and hammers it home.
Good.
His second Langford goals. And the lead is back to 10 points for Brisbane. Melbourne with the first goal of the second half. 8-5-53 Brisbane. Melbourne 6-7-43. The Irish jig. They're jigging in the aisles. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
Well, it ends up being the easiest of easy goals. But it started with Chandler in the middle of the ground. We talked about the closing pressure. So you can have defensive setup and you can have the grid and you can be forcing the opposition wide. But you have to impact at some point if you want to get the ball back. And on this occasion, the Lions went back through the middle of the ground. It was Chandler who was close enough and he was fast enough and tough enough to impact that defensive effort. And then all hell broke loose and the Demons were able to waltz it in for an easy goal.
Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Back in the middle, Lockie Neal in game. 300 gets the clearance for Brisbane. High up and under kick towards Rayner at half forward. Off hands at Sport away. Zach Bailey ducks his head. Got away from Fritsch. Hand pass away to Reveal. To Rayner in the left forward pocket. A bouncing effort which is denied.
Or is it?
Petty on the goal line. Has he dealt with this? We're going to go upstairs and check.
I reckon that's a goal.
I think it's a goal too, yeah.
So do I.
Yep.
Don't tell me he's the wrong side of the goal line.
Oh, I think he is. He took a sharp bounce, didn't it? It caught Petty out.
Yep, I reckon it took a little deviation, a little off break or leg break, and he just wasn't able to cover it before it crossed the line. We'll have a look.
Hit him in the midriff, so it's not quite the fist or the...
Showing us from front on, that's not going to help.
And the camera on the post.
Surely he's got a better angle than we have then. He's not judging it off there. Here we go. There we go. Well done.
I don't think all the ball is behind the line, which allows for it to be a behind. So Brisbane lead by behind for them, 11 points.
He's got an awkward way of doing lots of things, Harrison, doesn't he?
Yep.
Does a lot of good things and a lot of things you think, he's just got a different take on it.
But we apologise to him there. He was right and we were wrong. As Tolstrup kicks up the middle.
Wasn't a crack at him.
Cozzy Pickett onto it, and now Kadeem Coleman low down, turns it over with the handball, straight back to Gawn, who gives it to Chandler, to Langford, kicks the D's to full forward, and they're queuing up. Sharp marks at the front of the queue. 15 out, slightly right of centre, and this will bring it back to a one-kick ball game.
So that's when they're at their best, when they get the ball just behind centre, ahead of their D50 arc, that defensive mid-region, and then get real speed on it. That's when they're at their best. We've seen that time and time again in the first month, and that was the perfect example there.
16 games over 4 years at Brisbane. He's a demon now, and it's back inside, one straight kick. 8-6, 54 plays 7-7-49, a couple for Sharp. 8 minutes into the third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, again here for our Sunday afternoon D's residency here with the fellas. The Demons just keep showing up. They believe in what they're building. They play for each other, and they are hard to shake. This is a top line Brisbane outfit that looked like they had them on the ropes at half-time, and Melbourne are able to come out and make adjustments to their team defence. And we know that they love to run and take the game on when they've got the ball, and they don't hesitate. They like having the ball in their hands.
Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Brisbane got out by 17 points. It's back to 5 points Brisbane's way. Gawn and Draper in the middle of the ground. Spills out the way of Will Ashcroft. Kick is smothered. Out to Lockie Neal. In his 300 spirals the ball to half forward. Tholstrup did well. Knocked it away from McCarthy. Then gets it back from Cully. Melbourne's defence growing. Chips it up to Laurie. He marks on the members' wing and then spots Gawn. Risky kick, Rayner in from the side. Racing after it, Sparrow. Overran the footy. Tries to dink a hand pass to Gawn. Shoved out of it by McCluggage. And a free kick going Melbourne's way.
Lucky.
It was a bit touchy. Not a lot in it. Gawn takes it quickly.
He bites off the kick up towards half forward for Cully, who accepts the mark. Has Steele in the pocket. Dabs it to him and he marks. 40 out. 45-degree angle left half forward.
Well, they could use a bit of luck, I reckon. And that just went their way on that occasion. That was helpful.
Ray Chamberlain.
I'd love to take that Max Gawn correct free kick for pushing the back, and I'd love the umpires to look at that in terms of marking contest.
Yep.
So a few more of those, you think, Ray?
Cannot create the space with a push in the back in a marking contest. You can protect the space.
A dual All-Australian. Back to his best. Jack Steele goes. And Melbourne are leading the two-time reigning premiers Brisbane by a point. 10 minutes into the third term. 8-7-55 plays 8-6-54. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
I think we got scolded by Razor Ray Chamberlain there. And I liked it. It was strong from Ray. We thought it might have been a bit of a lucky free kick to Big Max. And Ray said, hold the phone. I've got a bit of information for you. And quite right, Ray. The hands are in the back. And it was a big moment in the context of the game and where it was on the field. Dead centre in the middle of the ground. Melbourne able to find some space. And Jack Steele, one of the recruits of the year. That was a class finish.
3 goals, 1 for 4 inside 50s this quarter for the D's. They're getting it in outside of that one with speed. Putting all sorts of defensive pressure as they go away from the centre again here. 3
goals on the bounce, and it's Steele once more. Drives them inside 50. Harris Andrews crashes the pack. Fletcher tackled by Sharp. Was their prior opportunity there? As Laurie also hangs on, and I turn my mic off. The Melbourne fans unrewarded in their cheers, but they'll get a ball up 35 metres out from the Demons' goal at the punt road end. Draper and Van Rooyen. Van Rooyen wins down the tap. Myercheck worked out of it. Van Rooyen tries to get it clear. Taken away by Zach Bailey. Kicks Brisbane to half-back. Windsor races after it. He turns on his right-hand side and a bright fluorescent yellow boots long towards the goal square, and Cully is beaten in the air by Harris Andrews. The ever-reliable co-captain marks at the top of the defensive goal square, and now we'll get 50.
And the All-Australian fullback, he'll get marched down the ground. 1 point Melbourne's lead. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Been plucky this year, the D's. Andrews shorts it to McCluggage. Another member of the All-Australian team last year. McCluggage looks deep. Sets it up for Lohman, a run and jump over the back of the pack. Out after it, Levi Ashcroft dribbles it on goal. Lever like the goalkeeper. Gathers at fullback inside the defensive goal square and chips it out to a teammate there in Bailey Laurie in the back pocket. He moves it on to Lever, who's run on beyond the defensive arc. Melbourne by a point, 12 played third term.
Gave it back to Laurie, game 14 of his AFL career. And again, Sparrow gives the hand pass out to Fritsch and now to Max Heath. In his first game in Melbourne colours, up towards Jefferson and Latrell Pickett. Harris Andrews was in the middle. He got it down to Wilmot. Hand pass to Gallup at half-back. Now to Fletcher. Bumped as he got his kick. It goes out on the full. Melbourne free kick on the Shane Warne stand side wing.
Just get the runner out, I reckon, Latrell. Just no need to be flying in the packs at the moment, young fella. Do your work at ground level.
Big men go by plane, little men go by train half.
That's spot on.
Melbourne with the last 3 goals of the match.
I heard that a few times when I was a young man.
Fritsch tries to laser a kick to Mychek, who leads into the pocket. And he hugs it to his chest. Forward to forward, that's one way to deliver it. And Brody Mychek hemmed in against the boundary. He'll have to kick every bit of 50 from the right forward pocket.
10 marks to 7 inside forward 50 for the game in favour of the D's. That forward-forward connection was beautiful. What a laser kick it was. It was a great call, Matty. It's exactly what happened.
1 goal this afternoon for the 5-time leading goal kicker for the Pies. It's not a bad effort. It's trying to come back. It's got there! Brody Mychek with his second. And would you believe it? The Demons are in front by 7 points. 4 unanswered goals in this third quarter. And the Irish team, the luck of the Irish from the right forward pocket. Brody Mychek makes the footy talk. The Demons 9-7-61 to Brisbane 8-6-54.
Well, he does a lot to help his teammates, Brody Mychek. That was all him. Strong lead, beautiful kick to space by Bailey Fritsch, who we know is a classy ball user. But Brody Mychek, that is a big, big kick. Crucial part of the game. And in a rare show of just a bit of sort of showbiz, he's gone to the crowd with the ear. What did you? Must have heard something over the fence.
A little bit of advice, perhaps.
Yeah, might have got a little bit of robust feedback.
Strong and direct.
As Mick Malthouse told us years ago, those strong Tasmanian legs driving it through from 55 out. Dunkley sends the Lions inside 50, but the D's win it back. Howes to Tolstrup, handball to Langford, and they work it out. Langford to Langdon. He kicks up towards the wing, and Lester gets in front of his man to mark as he tumbles to ground. Froggy Lester, wearing number 35 on his back. He was a big St Kilda fan growing up, honouring Robert Harvey with that number 35 he wears at Brisbane. Kicks infield to Answorth. He comes further into the corridor, away to Wilmot. Wilmot pokes it short to Fletcher. Lines into that kick mark game they play. Out to Andrews. They complete the switch as they move it around the arc. Now Link McCarthy looking inside 50 on his left. Pulls it back corridor and Dunkley's there. In game 200, he'll have a shot on goal from 30 out directly in front.
It's an incredibly clever kick to get that ball back to where it was, because as the runner gets to sort of just outside the arc, all defenders, all the forwards, they start to retreat and fold back into the top half, if you will, of the forward 50 for Brisbane, which created a little bit of a pocket of space for McCarthy to pull it back across his body. That was brilliant.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't Dunkley, it was probably Oscar Allen who would have taken the mark.
Yep.
Played in 5 grand finals in his 199 games for 3 wins, and he misses here. This being his 200th game, sprays it right. His brother Kyle also spent time on the Melbourne list.
That kick was more shades of Dad, Andrew. Hell of a player. Horrific kick at the footy.
Melbourne by 6 points.
Real helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, that's a noise. Scott McGuinness was doing that at the Hawthorn. Similar sort of stuff.
Petty out of defence. Laurie tries to dribble a kick up towards the boundary. That'll be a Lasso free kick and a Brisbane Lions free kick at right half back. Melbourne by 6 points. 9-7-61 to the Lions. 8-7-55. Brisbane haven't kicked a goal since the 25-minute mark of the second quarter. That was through Sam Draper. As Answorth takes the free kick, veers into the middle of the ground and then drives it up the wing. Levers in the pack, Gawn as well. Oscar Allen tries to tap it clear for Brisbane. On the bounce, Chandler trying to regather it for Melbourne, and that's come off his knee. And out of bounds on the full. He thinks it's his free kick. He's actually going to have to give it away, isn't he?
We're going to go upstairs, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm going to check this.
Certainly have a chat. Anyway, umpire and the boundary umpire. Both boundary umpires.
Did it come off Dunkley's knee above?
What happened, Ray? What was it, Ray?
No, I don't mind the decision. Obviously, they're having a conference. What worries me is when the field umpire actually causes the delay, giving the arc an opportunity.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing, isn't it, Ray? The sense we get is they're...
One certainly felt like that. That's not what we're being told.
We don't know that's happening, but it's sort of how we assume it's happening at the moment. We hope not, as Logan Morris gathers it half forward, handballs inside 50. Cameron swings onto his right boot and kicks it out of bounds on the full. So Melbourne to get it back in the left back pocket. Ray, would you be in favour of clear disposal out of bounds, sure, lasso free kick. But ones like that, when it inadvertently knocks off a shin, just spin it back in.
Well, are you gonna award a goal when it's inadvertently off the shin?
I understand that, Ray, but we're officiating it differently at different parts of the ground because we're not playing last disposal inside 50, so we can adjudicate it differently in different parts of the ground.
No, but we are reviewing for score. So I guess it depends what the argument is or what the debate is or what the point that we're trying to overcome is. If you're going to apply the law, apply it. But the other thing is if you're going to review, just tell the game. The game's just got to say, we will review these. Don't do it by stealth.
Yeah, but I'm saying just change the law to make it easier for everyone. As Chandler comes away with it, chips up towards half forward for the D's. Mychek marks, kicks inside 50. Fritsch is backpedaling, and he marks, plays on, goals. The D's have kicked 5 unanswered in the third term to storm to the front and lead by 2 goals. 10-7-67 plays 8-7-55. 19 minutes into the third term. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford, Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Both teams really comfortable to use the ball wide, back their contests in. That time it was Melbourne's turn, and again Brodie Mychek again contested mark and had the presence of mind, just a swing. He knew he had a number in Bailey Fritsch deep. His opponent had come up to man the mark, and there was just enough distance and power on the kick, and Fritsch, well, once he gets it in his hands from close range, he's too classy to miss those.
Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sports. After Brisbane booted 4-1 in the second quarter, Melbourne have booted 4 goals unanswered. Out of the middle of the ground, Will Ashcroft's kicked to half forward, off hands, and Loman's landed awkwardly. Gathered by Langdon and Melbourne to Cozzy Pickett. The D's have found their run. Kicks out towards Cully, who marks it right half back. Loman slowly getting to his feet. The kick to a stationary Turner never got there, and it's taken by Wilmot. Kicks it into the pocket, and the mark is taken by Oscar Allen. Hard against the boundary line in the left forward pocket.
The turnovers are going to be the difference in this game, I think, the way it's all unfolding at the moment. And we've talked before, covering Melbourne games as part of the, what do you call that?
Residency.
The residency. Yep. That if it wasn't Max or Cozzy to spark a flurry of energy from Melbourne, who's it going to be? Well, this quarter, Max has had a little bit of it. Cozzy hasn't had any. He's had 2, but they've kicked 5-0. This is a good sign for the Dukes.
Oscar Allen's kicked a goal in every game he's played this season. 1 already in the second quarter. From Howard out to the left, the former Eagles captain. It's across the face. Draper's in the pack. Spoils it down. Loman! He's okay, Kai, as he finishes from a couple of metres out. And Brisbane finally have their first goal of the third quarter at the 21-minute mark to wrestle back Melbourne's lead from 12 points back to 6. The Demons 10-7-67 to Brisbane 9-7-61. He flew for a ball at half forward, landed awkwardly on his shoulder. Looked like he might come to the bench, stayed out there, and then once a fortune and finished with a goal from a couple of metres out. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, there's team defence and there's the 95% theory that I put forward before half-time around being set up, but can you impact it? When it's a long kick inside 50, there cannot be any wriggle room. So a player like Loman, but any player inside 50, you just have to be virtually standing in your shorts with that player. And Jake Lever, who's had a good afternoon, he just let him go. Not good enough from Lever.
I think it was really clever from Draper, who palmed it straight down to Loman as Gawn kicks it high out of the ruck, and Jai Cully floats through the pack to mark. You send the D's back inside 50, low ball to full forward. Up they go, no mark Fritsch. Coleman roves the pack defensively for Brisbane. Off to Charlie Cameron, cruises beyond the defensive arc, kicks up to the wing. Free kick for Allen.
Even though it's a free kick, great play by Petty. Great play. That's the closing pressure. That's that 100% sort of pressure. It slows them down. It forces the player to ground.
So Allen moves it on to Reveal, who gets it on to Zakostelski. Lifts it away towards Will Ashcroft, to Cameron inside 50, to McCluggage, and that is the Brisbane Lions at their best. Chaining kicks down the ground, and it ends up with a shot on goal.
Yeah, because to elaborate on Bob's point, I mean, that they're able to hold the ball up with that free kick. Worst case scenario, they hold the ball up and make Oscar Allen go back over his mark and find targets. That's the disappointing part from Melbourne's perspective. But Brisbane, ball use and run was electric from there.
Hugh McCluggage from 45 out, sends it right.
The vortex, that's where you miss it, the MCG. You miss right, the vortex takes it right.
So particularly at the city end, the wind comes in sort of almost the other way, swirls around and then
gets you on the way through. Yep. Kicks to the right pocket. The breeze goes to the right pocket.
Melbourne by 5 points, 5 goals to 1 the D's way in this third quarter. Tholstrup out of defence. Really having enough of it. Gallup, he's not paid the mark, and then he's tackled immediately by Cully and also Jefferson. So the umpire will ball it up on the Shane Warne side. Melbourne by 5 points, 10-7-61 to Brisbane 9-8-68. From the stoppage, Dunkley races after it, gets the hand pass to Wilmot. Now wait to Levi Ashcroft and back to Wilmot. He's running away from his attacking goals at the city end and then tries to send it up towards Fletcher, but it's out on the full. Melbourne will take it back and Caleb Windsor will take the ball for the Demons.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport. 5 points, Melbourne's lead. Kicked the first 5 goals of the second half. Brisbane have kicked the last goal in the game.
They've missed 3 sitters though, Brisbane, so these have to be really careful of not just getting comfortable with how things are going, how this game looks on the scoreboard. Dunkley should have kicked his. Charlie Cameron missed a simple one, and then McCluggage just gone. So they've missed 3 really easy shots that they would normally kick.
Lever off the back flank. Draper coming across, knocks it down in the marking contest, and then Andrews is able to clean up for the Lions. Gives it off to Levi Ashcroft, who shorts it to Kitty Coleman. Tight roping the boundary line. Left foot kick up to half forward. Loman goes upstairs, and it was a little unrealistic, Kai. So a free kick going to Colton Tholstrup, way out of Esperance, with the crystal blue water and the white sands. Good part of the world. Melbourne by 5 points, 25 minutes into the third term.
Chandler takes the mark from the kick from Tholstrup. Melbourne have it a right half back. 25 minutes gone in the third term. And plays on and runs out to the left as Chandler sends it up the wing. Gawn doesn't fly. Jefferson does from behind and takes a good mark. He wants to try and move it quickly. 1-on-one's inside 50. Fritsch is the target. He leads away from Leicester and marks on his chest. Got dragged down as well.
Oh, coming!
Umpire says, come with me.
Ray, what do you think? Is it worth 50?
So it's a delay. There's a delay from the mark to when he gets in it and grabs hold of him and he throws him to the ground. So if Leicester's action, the secondary action, puts him on the ground, it's a delay of play and a warranted 50.
Great go for Ray Chamberlain, giving us the insights on the boundary, and Bailey Fritsch has now got a certainty from the goal line.
Did he drag him to the ground?
You can debate that in just a second, because Bailey Fritsch is about to put through his second, and Melbourne are going to once more lead by 11 points, and the Demons fans at the punt road end rise once more, and the Irish music kicks off again. Fritsch's second. Melbourne 11-7-73 to the Brisbane Lions 9-8-62. 26 minutes gone, third quarter, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I'll dispute the 50. I won't dispute the way that Melbourne again have been able to move the ball against Brisbane. So Chris Fagan's going to be really annoyed about this. Because this quarter in particular, they've been able to get really good transition on and you identified it perfectly in the call, Clinchy. They had the 2 1-on-1s and they were separated by about 35 metres when the ball was at the top of the arc of Jefferson. And he got it into the narrow one, the closer one, which was the right target. Just seeing that again, the replay of the 50-metre penalty. I reckon let him go.
Ray Chamberlain?
Yeah, no, I'm with half on that one. I don't think there's a delay. I think he makes the contest. What I will say, one more goal down here, it'll look like more like Bridie O'Reilly's than the MCG.
Gawn taps it down in the middle, but getting involved, Lockie Neal.
That's very
Now it spills out to Dunkley, who tumbles it inside 50 for the Lions. Unable to mark Lever. Lincoln McCarthy nearly cuts a swathe through them, but gets a handball out. Morris in the pocket, tackled to ground. Nowhere to go on a ball up. Left forward pocket here for Brisbane. They trail by 11 points late in the third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Ben Cameron and Matt Clinch calling the action. Ray Chamberlain down the boundary. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy, your experts. Gawn flicks it over the back, looking for Sparrow. Langdon left it behind. Now tries to get a hand pass out. Brisbane still searching, but in the end the ball is locked up in the left forward pocket as Cully lays the tackle on Josh Dunkley. Jared Berry out of the match with a calf injury in the second quarter. From the stoppage, breaking clear, Cameron brought down, holding the ball. In fact, it was Zach Bailey. The 33, not the 23. So Charlie doesn't get caught very often, and the free kick goes the way of Cozzy Pickett as he chips it out to Turner.
He kicks long up towards the wing. Massive fly from Coleman. Over the back it goes, and Chandler runs onto it. He'll loop a handball over the top. House half forward for the D's. Handball to Langford. He says, I'll go myself. Floats it towards goal in the goal square, and Andrews, the ever-reliable defender for Brisbane, punches it through. Minor score. Melbourne by 13 points. 28 minutes into the third. Sorry, Hull.
Sorry, Benny had Latrell Pickett all by himself in the pocket too, did Langford.
Fletcher quickly brings it in. A long searching kick, and the mark is taken by Dunkley. He was in a one-on-one mark against Tom Sparrow. Melbourne by 12 points. As Josh Dunkley comes inboard, Wilmot always so creative and attacking from half-back, but the corridor is well protected by Melbourne. They have the grid right up the wing and through the middle of the ground, so it has to go back by foot. Harris Andrews takes the mark. He gestures for someone to lead up at him, and there's not a lot of movement. Swings it back out to Dunkley, who marks it left half-back. Game number 200 for him this afternoon, 300 for Lachie Neale, the two-time premiership player, two-time Brownlow medalist. Swings it out to Luke McCarthy. Mark taken on the Shane Warne stand wing. He plays on, tries to kick the half forward, looking for Neale. Clean pickup, took on the tackle. Turner trying to get it forward. In the end, Logan Morris can't get on the end of it. Melbourne desperately defending as the victory is won there. Why Lindsay gets the hand pass away, and Cozzy Pickett cuts away from Oscar Allen, kicks up the wing, and the mark is taken by Cully.
Cully just holds it up momentarily. Cozzy Pickett zipping by. He'll kick around the wing and onto the chest of Langdon.
That's the game breaker, that kick.
And he's working it down the Warne wing. Loops a handball. Away to Taylor. The debutant kicks inside 50. Andrews again breaks it up for Brisbane. And they repel through Answorth.
Been enormous, Andrews.
He's been huge, hasn't he?
Absolutely enormous.
Off to Bailey and then on to Levi Ashcroft. He was runner-up in the Norm Smith medal voting last year on grand final day. Harris Andrews, what a champion he is.
As the mark is taken by Oscar Allen, working a long way up the ground. Chips it up to left half forward. Link McCarthy has it. Trying to find an avenue inside forward 50. Draper's the deepest target. Logan Morris as well. Latrell Pickett got back. Draper trying to get a second go at it. Pickett could have almost been legged. He kept his feet. Gathers the footy for Melbourne. Chips it out to Chandler. He marks it right half back. It just gestures for some calm. 30 minutes gone, third quarter. Melbourne leading by 12 points. They put it 6-2 to Brisbane's 1-4 in this third quarter.
These two teams have played so wide today that you could almost have simultaneously played a game of Sheffield Shield cricket on the pitches in the middle. Have not touched the pitches in the middle.
Oh, Petty, a shocking kick from fullback. His second of the afternoon. It slews off the side of his boot and is picked off by Will Ashcroft. 40 out, 30-degree angle, and the dual Norm Smith medalist will kick for goal.
It's just disastrous. Perrott Harris is trying to do the right thing twice. He's just got it off the outside of the instep, whichever time it is. You just can't make those mistakes. You can't do that in modern footy. It just cruels you.
Ashcroft's drop punt is just perfect. And he says, put the belt on me. It's back to 6 points. 10-8-68, plays 11-8-74, 31 and a half minutes into the third. And I think his belt celebration is one of the best players in the game. Now, this is interesting.
What's
Harry
happening?
Petty is looking very unwell in the goal square here.
There you go. I saw him reach down and almost hold himself up at one stage. Put his hand on the ground like a three-point start.
Yeah, the players are almost holding up Harrison Petty in the goal square at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on here, whether
the umpires have stopped the game.
He's taken a knee.
Yeah. This is something you don't see every day. Maybe there's some kind of concussion issue perhaps for Harrison Petty, but he's on a knee. He's got two doctors and a trainer around him.
And unusually, he has two players sort of holding him up.
Yeah, at the back, keeping him from falling to the back. This is quite disturbing, quite bizarre.
And now he's going to be assisted by both of the trainers as he makes his way off the ground. So Harry Petty can't walk off the ground unassisted at the moment. He's got one arm draped around one trainer. The other trainer has his arm on the small of Harrison Petty's back, just guiding him off the ground. Colton Tolstrup is coming on for him, and this is very unusual, most unusual.
He's trying to explain. He's talking to the physio and the doctor. He's trying to explain what's happened. Now, we can't...
So we get a replay here.
So you watch him. If we get the replay in the back, yeah, there you go. It's almost as if he's like really all of a sudden become really dizzy.
Almost like, it looks like vertigo.
Yeah.
So, and he reaches down to hold the ground to find his...
And then he's going to tell someone, I'm not going well here.
It looks like he said, I can't see, or something of the like. He said, I'm just reading his lips there, and I'm not the best lip reader, but it looked like he said something, I can't, something. So, yeah, perhaps...
So he's very slowly walking from the MCG. So as a result, they can't resume the game. 33 minutes gone in this third quarter, and real concern around Harrison Petty. I don't know, Ray, from your vantage point, if you can see much.
No, nothing to add other than what you said. He's obviously in the hands of the trainers. He looks very unwell, to be fair, and he doesn't look like he's particularly well focused. They're just really got hold of him going down the stairs now.
Straight down to the rooms for him. Back in the middle of the ground, Zach Bailey gets the clearance for the Brisbane Lions, approaching three-quarter time. Oscar Allen thumps it inside 50. Gathered from Melbourne by Taylor. He's tackled and brought down, and the umpire will ball it up. In his first game, Xavier Taylor, the 19-year-old, 191 centimetres, pick 11 last season. Not sure he was wearing the bright fluoro boots when he played for Casey Half as the siren sounds for three-quarter time. And Melbourne lead by 6 points off the back of a 6-2 third quarter. Brisbane's goal came from Will Ashcroft from that turnover from Harrison Petty after the delay ahead of three-quarter time. And Kai Lohmann in the 21st minute. But before that, it was all Melbourne. They were certainly on the march. And the Demons lead by 6 points, 11-8-64 to Brisbane, 10-8-68. For the Demons, 2 goals to Bailey Fritsch, to Harry Sharp, to Brodie Myercheck and to Harvey Langford. Individuals to Van Rooyen, Steele and Chandler. While for the Brisbane Lions, 2 goals to Charlie Cameron and to Logan Morris. Individuals to Lohmann, Draper, Fletcher, Allen, Will Ashcroft, Rayner for the Lions. Melbourne leading by 6 points, both sides with 3 wins and 2 losses so far for the season. And earlier it was North Melbourne who defeated Richmond by 75 points. A whopping win for the Kangaroos. Their biggest win in 7 years and their biggest win over the Tigers since 1997. Paul Curtis kicked a career best 6 goals. And the Kangaroos are now 4 wins and 2 losses as they look to make their way up the AFL ladder. Still to come, it's the Western Derby from Perth as the Fremantle Dockers take on the West Coast Eagles. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Look at me. Anne Edmonds, Kitty Flanagan, Magda Zabansky, and so many more.
Good morning, everyone.
No one cares.
In comedy gems like Fisk, Kath and Kim, and Bad Company.
This pop? No, thank you.
Comedy that leaves an impression. ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Chandler punches it away, back into the muck for Melbourne. Van Rooyen, forward handball, away to Jefferson. Now Chandler, he's got men breaking everywhere. Langford is one of them. He marks, runs in, and hammers it home.
Good.
His second, Langford goes. And the lead is back to 10 points for Brisbane. Melbourne with the first goal of the second half. He bites off the kick up towards half forward for Cully, who accepts the mark, has Steele in the pocket, dabs it to him and he marks. 40 out, 45-degree angle left half forward. A dual All-Australian, back to his best, Jack Steele goes! And Melbourne are leading the 2-time reigning premiers Brisbane by a point, 10 minutes into the third term. As Chandler comes away with it, chips up towards half forward for the D's. Myercheck marks, kicks inside 50. Fritsch is backpedaling and he marks, plays on, goals. The D's have kicked 5 unanswered in the third term to storm to the front and lead by 2 goals.
Turner never got there and it's taken by Wilmot. Kicks it into the pocket and the mark is taken by Oscar Allen. Hard against the boundary line in the left forward pocket. The former Eagles captain, it's across the face. Draper's in the pack, spills it down. Lohmann! He's okay, Kai, as he finishes from a couple of metres out. And Brisbane finally have their first goal of the third quarter at the 21-minute mark.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
5 lead changes throughout the match. Melbourne leading by 6 points at three-quarter time against the reigning premiers. Their first game at the MCG since that back-to-back premiership triumph against the Cats. Melbourne 11-8-74 to Brisbane 10-8-68. Matt Lynch and Ben Cameron calling the action. Ray Chamberlain's down on the boundary for you. Thoughts of Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport.
Well, we've got a ding-dong battle here at the MCG. Only 6 points separating these sides. They've both been playing wide, as we've said, but it's been effective for both of them, that they've been able to chip and work the ball around as far and as wide as you can on the MCG, but they've been able to get the ball enough inside 50, and the dangerous forwards have done enough to hit the scoreboard. We've got a pretty high-scoring contest. It's a hard one to pick. It really is a difficult game to pick, because you would say that Brisbane's better moments look more formidable, and that's because of the pedigree and because of the history perhaps. But Melbourne just have a way of hanging in there, and we've seen it firsthand a number of times this year that they will go the distance. They are able to adjust and they're able to reload. I love the way that they were able to, not every time, but they were able to close that defensive space up. You called it the last metre, half at one point. I was trying to really labour the point of this 95% theory that barely got off the ground. But I think we gave it enough in the end. Kind of gave it enough energy. Got one more quarter to really push it over the line. But I felt like they actually did. They did make an adjustment of not just being close, but actually being physically able to impact the Brisbane Lions when they were trying to move the ball through them. But having said that, Brisbane have so much class and they've got so many good ball users that at times they just breeze past any team. So that's not necessarily on Melbourne. Can the Demons find it again for one more quarter? We know that the Lions have got the cattle, they've got the stars, and they've got the plan to do it. Can this young Demons side hang in there? I want to say yes, but there's more question marks than the Lions.
Yeah, although they did get a lot out of that third quarter, clearly. 5 goals from turnover, which they hadn't been able to do really with any great effectiveness or efficiency in the first half of the game. So that was a big stat, I reckon. If you're Stephen King, you're saying, how do we score? You talked about that last metre or the 100% defensive theory. They did it better and they got some results on turnover. So I think that's the message at three-quarter time. If we can do that again, we kept them to how many uncontested marks? Their lowest tally for the game so far, 29 for the quarter. It was 33 and 39 the first 2 quarters.
Still a lot though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a lot. But it's their method too, so you're not going to take it away, all of it. So my sell, if I'm Stephen King, saying that, right, our pressure was good, we locked out their uncontested marks, we got the ball back and we got them on turnover. We can do that again. For Chris Fagan, you're trying to get a bit more possession, a bit more composure in your ball movement, I reckon, in this last term.
Final term underway. Melbourne leading by 6 points. As it's taken in the middle of the ground. Clever from Coleman, who was able to volley a hand pass from Josh Dunkley into the middle of the ground. Lohmann can't take the mark. McCluggage's hand pass pinched by Cosy Pickett of Melbourne. Hand pass to Steele to Sparrow, ran into a dead end, lost the footy. Trying to get a hand pass forward to Lohmann. Melbourne take back through Windsor to Langford. His hand pass chopped off. So a few turnovers here as McCluggage inside 50. Morris the target, spoiled away by Tholstrup. Zach Bailey front and centre, cuts on his ride. A shot on goal misses to the right hand side. Just 30 seconds into this final term. Jarrett Berry out through injury in that second quarter with a calf injury, and Harrison Petty leaving the field with a bizarre injury after turning over a shot on goal. We're not sure if it's vertigo or concussion. We'll wait for some updates on him.
He's been ruled out. He's in the black.
Tolstrup with a long kick up towards Gawn, who was tunnelled. Free kick. The Melbourne champion, wearing Jim Stein's famous old number 11. Pretty sound decision from the umpire, I think, on that occasion, as Cosy Pickett chips it up towards, Gawn chips it up towards Cosy Pickett, who knocks it down, looks for his cousin Latrell. That sends it into a Lions pride, and they gather the footy through Lohmann. Handball out to Will Ashcroft. Now to Charlie Cameron. Kicks inside 50. Low down for Rayner.
You can't do that.
Yeah, flying boot from Tolstrup. Advantage paid. McCluggage goes. And they take back the lead, Brisbane.
Well, forget about the final metre of defensive pressure and forget about the 100% theory. If you can't deliver basic handballs and you drop chest marks against Brisbane in this last quarter, you won't win. And that's how Melbourne have started this last quarter. A couple of really poor handballs to start proceedings in this last quarter. And then Latrell Pickett just drops the easiest mark that he'll ever drop. He won't ever do that again, Latrell Pickett, and it caused absolute chaos and just gave an opportunity to Brisbane that they don't need much. So if you get the basics wrong, Melbourne, you'll pay the price.
11-9-75 plays 11-8-74, a sixth lead change in this match.
Draper wins down the tap against Gawn, but it's rowed by Steele, tackled by Will Ashcroft, got a hand pass away to Pickett, to Gawn, ran into a dead end, tackled by Bailey, dropped it to his boot and kicks it up in the air. Sparrow back with a flight, is it 15? It is. So Melbourne try and make something work. He turns on his right-hand side, long towards the goal square. Jefferson caught behind against Gallup, and he may have given away the free kick to Melbourne forward.
That's a poor kick inside 50. That's a thoughtless kick. Just take that extra half a second to put it to your teammates' advantage.
Gallup out of defence, sends it up to Leicester, who marks against the boundary line at right half-back. Brisbane leading by a point after Melbourne kicked 6 goals to 2 in that third quarter. Comes inboard to Zach Bailey. Brisbane looking to honour Lachie Neale in his 300th game this afternoon. Also games 200 for Josh Dunkley and game 50 for Logan Morris. They swing it across half-back. Harris Andrews marks. He dinks a kick close to the boundary line. Levi Ashcroft just marks.
Ashcroft, the Levi variety, just taking his time. Now kicking up to a contest. Draper launching at the footy. Lots of it. Doesn't complete it. Dunkley at the fall of the ball. Can't get rid of it. Umpire circles, holding the ball.
So no prior, legal tackle, no genuine attempt. Is that right, Ray?
Spot on ball, not pinned, and so the law asked him to make an attempt.
He did have a fraction of a second where he could have got rid of it. Then his arm got pinged as McCluggage causes a turnover with his kick. Cole switching kick in the air and reveal. He pinches that. So the Lions with it, 51 out. Bailey on, or Charlie Cameron. He gets it to Cameron just. Windsor was closing late, but Cameron ends up with it. 40 out, slight angle left of centre.
Well, you reinforces your point before, Bob. If you can't execute the basic skills against Brisbane, you are going to pay a price. And it might be 4 points at the end of the game, the way things are going here for the D's.
It does feel like, as fatigue kicks in, that the class of the Lions is just starting to emerge pretty clearly at the moment.
Charlie Cameron, 2 goals already today. His drop punt from right on 50 is right and marked on the goal line.
Oh, that's poor.
I reckon Logan Morris has taken it. He wants to play on and goal it. They will check this.
Morris Major.
Put it through on the left. And we're going to go upstairs, but it looked like from up here the mark was in the field of play, Half and Murph.
Yeah, well, we're a long way from it, but to the naked eye, not all the ball was across the line, which would suggest that's in the field of play.
Yeah.
So he won't be able to play on. He'll have to take his kick with the mark set about a metre out, and he'll be put at right angles to the goal.
You've coached Half. Goal line marks. How they're on the Hall of Fame, aren't they, for coach frustration?
Well, he kicks back infield, and Bruce Reveal is standing all by himself, 35 out on a 30-degree angle.
Goal line marks and the little dinky kick from 50 to 30 that nobody sees and just allows the free play to mark the ball. They're the two. They're the two, because everyone's thinking they're going to go long for goal on those big long shots, and they just don't move. Especially when you've got 3 big units on the line. How that doesn't get killed.
Bruce Reveal twirling the Sharon, puts his laces through it from 30 and sprays it right.
Come on, Bruce. We'll get that T-shirt signed one day.
It's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah.
They double their advantage.
Hair, everything. Full package, Bruce.
They lead by 2 points, 6.5 minutes into the fourth.
He's T-shirt worthy, I'm telling you.
If you're Chris Fagan, though, would you prefer Logan Morris 3-4 metres out on a triangle? Or Bruce Reville, I guess he missed, so the answer speaks for itself. Chandler on half back for Melbourne. Hand pass to Langford, back to Chandler. He runs the boundary line, takes the second bounce. Corralled by Fletcher onto his left-hand side. Fritchen a 2-on-1.
No.
And in from the side, Gallup takes the mark. So some of Melbourne's delivery inside forward 50 in this last quarter has been pretty average. Lions with the opening goal of the final term to take the lead. It's a 2-point lead at the moment.
There's skill errors and then there's thoughtless kicking. And at the moment, Melbourne's giving us a little bit of both. That was the latter. That was a thoughtless error from Chandler.
Answorth out towards Reville. Thought he might have been dragged down by Jefferson. Melbourne get a hand pass forward through Sharp. Foot races on. Jefferson overruns the footy. Not so from Will Ashcroft. He gathers, but unfortunately kicked it straight out on the full. So Melbourne will get a kick here at left half forward. Or do they? Was he over the boundary line before he kicked it? I might have gone early there. We're going to review it.
We're going to have a look.
Ray, is this the field umpire just holding this up?
Yeah, look, mate, they're 200 metres away from me from here, so I won't go hard on this one.
Come on, Ray.
Ray, we dare you.
Oh, double dare me and then watch me go.
Brisbane by 2 points. Melbourne have let us know that it is a head injury for Harrison Petty, so that was the reason. So seemingly a concussion. Kelsey Pickett gets the handball out. Chandler twisting, turning. Away to Heath, who gives it off to Sharp. He'll kick to full forward for Melbourne. Oh! Gets an almighty sit and comes down with the footy at full forward.
That's beautiful. If you're a key forward, that's exactly what you want. You're sitting off your defender, waiting for a high ball in. Andrews is in the perfect step ladder position, and JVR says, I'll have a piece of that if you don't mind.
Made him look like the marking bag at training. Copped a good knee in the head too, Harris Andrews. Van Rooyen, plumb in front, 15 out. And Melbourne are back in front too. By 4 points, a 7th lead change of the match. 12-8-80 plays 11-10-76, 9 minutes into the fourth, Van Rooyen's second.
If he has an uninterrupted run at the footy, Jacob Van Rooyen, there's not many who can go with him.
No.
He has raw athleticism, he's powerful, he's very long, and he likes going for them. Harrison Petty, you can see he likes to get in that dangerous position and as an aggressive defender. That time the kick, sorry, who did I say?
Harrison Petty.
Harrison Petty, he's not on the ground. Harris Andrews, aggressive positioning, too aggressive in that situation, and JVR, that was a mark of the day for sure.
Heath and Zakostelski in the middle of the ground. No clear tap as it's a chance for McCluggage. Tackle by Cosy Pickett. Turnover. Langford for Melbourne. Hand pass forward to Latrell Pickett. He looks up inside 50. Chips it from Myercheck. Can't take the mark. Answorth kept his feet. He gathers for Brisbane. Kicks up towards the wing. A bouncing footy. The foot race is on. Logan Morris will get there first. Can't take it cleanly. Taps it away from Turner. Turner first back onto it for Melbourne. Hand pass to Langdon. To Howes against the boundary line. Feigns the hand pass. Kicks up to Turner. He plays on. Charlie Cameron thought it was touched, and Turner now takes the kick in front of the interchange bench. All of a sudden that decision for Logan Morris to chip back to Bruce Reville. Missed the shot from a couple of metres out as Turner from the wing up to half forward.
Massive pack. Andrews punches it away for Brisbane. Lands in the lap of Neil. Handball to Lohman. He's dispossessed. Pinched by Latrell Pickett. Picked his pocket. Ball up coming. On the logo. Up it goes. Slapped away by Heath. Coming through, Cully. He flicks out a handball and gathered there by Jasper Fletcher. Away to Bailey, who's dispossessed. He loses it in a little fumble. Langford takes it for Melbourne. Away to Chandler. He'll cruise through centre half forward. Run to 45. Either sticks and goal. Melbourne 10 points to the good. 2 for Chandler. 13-8-86 plays 11-10-76. 11 minutes into the fourth. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I was very critical early in this quarter. Cade Chandler, the kick I thought was really thoughtless. That was more like chandelier than Chandler. That's him at his absolute best, where he gets the ball, he turns, he sums it all up, and just with 1,000 shiny diamonds goes bang. That's class half.
With a capital C. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he thought through it. That was the point. He thought through it. He knew exactly what was happening around him and was able to see the space, saw his teammates running back to goal, creating a big vacuum to work into, and a terrific finish. He's a good player, that boy.
Melbourne out by 10 points. Back in the middle of the ground. Neil tries to break clear. Lost it. Turnover. Langford for Melbourne to Gawn to Windsor. Gets the hand pass away to Tholstrup. Tries to kick out to the member side where Steele's running into space. He gathers. Corralled by Neil. Hand pass over the top to Cully. Sidesteps Coleman. Chips it, and Chandler's all on his own again.
Oh.
In the right forward pocket. 45 metres out from goal. He's looking for a couple of short options, and now maybe he's sensing the moment.
No, Clinchy. He beautifully pretended to look for short options. After kicking his last, he's like, no, I'm now the chandelier man.
Yes.
And I'll show you how it's done. Watch the shiny diamonds on this one.
The Demons fans will be swinging from the chandeliers in a second.
Yep.
If it goes through.
Melbourne have kicked 8 goals to 3 since half-time. And after 2 goals on the bounce, this would be something. Chandler opens it up, gives it a whack, and sends it straight through the middle. A third for Kate Chandler. And Melbourne are going to take some chasing now. 13 minutes gone in the final term. The D's throw down the gauntlet to Brisbane. It's a 16-point lead to the reigning premiers here at the MCG.
Oh, shine, you beauty diamond. The clink, clink, clink of the chandelier. That is a class finish. That's 2 in a row. Last quarter from the arc on the right side for a left footer, but he's one of those players that he's not just good at kicking goals, he really likes to. You can see how comfortable and confident that he is when he gets the ball within 70 metres.
And you just wonder about that matchup, Bob. He's on Kitty Coleman, so Coleman trying to be attacking across half-back. Chandler backed himself in. 2 goals in 3 minutes for him.
Coleman's just come off, so they've had to change it anyway.
Last 3 goals of the game for the D's. Tapped down by Gawn, knocked back in by Cully, suckered forward by Brisbane, inside 50. Allen paddles it. It'll sit up here for Turner, gathers for the D's, off the lever, turnover. McCarthy steals it, kicks to full forward. Rayner marks, plays
Played on, I think.
He did play on, I think, Bob. The umpire says no. So he'll go back and kick for goal. 15 out, tight angle. Oh, he did.
And no doubt he played on. He just had the step going forward. It's all the defender coming at him.
He had enough deniability, didn't he?
He did. No
just
doubt.
had enough.
It's a good read. Taylor, they've done a pretty good job, the D's, of defending Lohman, Rayner and Bailey today.
Yeah.
Haven't really got off the chain yet.
Rayner in to keep Brisbane within touching distance. He goes. They'll keep coming, the champs. 14-8-92 Melbourne, Brisbane 12-10-82, quarter hour mark. Final term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Which is the opportunity as the fatigue kicks in. You reckon those guys should be able to exert themselves and influence the game a bit more in this last term should Brisbane get their hands on the footy a bit. You see the replay of the intercepted handball. It was a really good read from McCarthy. He's a clever player, McCarthy. He knew exactly what was going to happen.
Kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, outside of the boot to the space to advantage side. And Rayner did the rest.
Some basic handball errors have cost the Demons in this last quarter. If they can tidy that part of their game up, they'll give themselves more of a shot. Now, Max Gawn's already had his rest. We know he's a huge fourth quarter performer.
Best in the business.
Half.
Q4 King.
Yep. Best ever, perhaps.
Melbourne by 10 points. Back in the middle of the ground. Neil run down by Cully. Play on Sakul. Spills out to Wilmot. Kicks Brisbane up towards half forward, towards the boundary line. Lasso free kick Melbourne's way.
Hey, Razor, is my man Bruce down there seeking medical attention or getting medical attention?
Yeah, he's had an ankle strap, but he's going to be fine. He had some pain meds, and he's just about to come back into the field of play. In other news, that signal from the umpire is less lasso and more Gangnam style. What was that?
I'm glad you picked that up, Ray, because I did as well. Langdon's kick up towards half forward. Jefferson had it spoiled away from him. Cosy Pickett slips over, knocks it on to cousin Latrell. Up against the boundary line, kicks towards Myercheck. Over the back, Harris Andrews supports Gallup and fists it out of play.
I was thinking more on top of the bar, Coyote Ugly.
Yeah, Ray, just on the lasso, is that just the boundary umpire's role, or can the field umpire also lasso?
No, the sole judge of that will be the boundary umpire.
Well, the field umpire did it as well, so that's a watch for me.
It's full Gangnam style.
Tapped down by Gawn, boundary side. Latrell Pickett, centering kick, exquisite. Trell Pickett is best.
I tell you, I think he's had 1 or 2 touches this quarter, Latrell Pickett. Make it 3 now with that. But he's influenced a lot of the big moments in this last quarter. His pressure, he's got a hand in a couple of times. He's scared the living daylights out of one opponent to drop the ball where they got a goal before with Chandler's long goal. So he's having an influence outside of being a big disposal winner.
Van Rooyen ends up with it. 20 out, directly in front, trying to make his mark on this game as well. He boots through his third. And Melbourne are out by 16 again. An equal game high lead. 15-8-98 plays 12-10-82. 17 into the fourth. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
That's a big goal, and it's a big goal for a couple of reasons. Clearly the scoreboard, Jacob Van Rooyen, young key forward. But that's the second he's kicked this quarter. And perhaps the ripple effect of that is that his direct opponent, Harris Andrews, who is the attacking defender, who is one of the best players out there on the ground today. He's been sensational. Maybe one of the effects now is that then Harris Andrews' offensive ability as a defender, that could be altered because he's now thinking, hang on, this young bloke's kicked 2 on me. I can't chance my arm as much as I have in the first 3.5 quarters.
Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Crowd posted at 41,629. Going out of the middle of the ground. Hand pass to Latrell's cousin, Cozzy. He's tackled by McCarthy. And there's nowhere for Cozzy to go now as he's thrown to the turf and the umpire will ball it up.
Be flat about that.
Yeah, I think Latrell's usually been Cozzy's cousin.
Oh, after that kick, I'm giving him the credit. Lohman got it off hands, kicks up towards half forward. Oscar Allen tries to slap it on, wins a red at best. Got to the back of the stoppage. Gathers for Melbourne, kicks up towards the wing. Wilmot takes the mark. Brisbane take it back on the Shane Warne stand side of the ground. Melbourne by 16.
Wilmot with the high ball inside 50. Up they all go. Morris hands to it very nearly. Sparrow for Melbourne. Rushes his kick. Turns it over. Wilmot for the Lions. Just pokes it over the top. Gets it very wide out to Levi Ashcroft. Still such a young man. A December birthday, so still only 19. He kicks towards full forward. Up they go, no one able to mark it. They fall of the ball. Windsor's over it, fighting for it, ball up. Umpire wants it. Melbourne by 16 points, 19 played, fourth term.
Brisbane in their forward pocket, Draper and Gawn. Gawn slaps it towards the boundary line. Langdon gets it away. Latrell Pickett, clearing kick, chopped off. Fletcher marks it right half forward. Gets a goal in the opening quarter. Might be just beyond him. Pokes it into the pocket. Allen leads out. Lever over the side, makes the spoil. Gathered by Levi Ashcroft. His kick is smothered. And is it out on the full there? Saying it came off Tholstrup's boot, but hard to tell from this far away.
Boundary umpire called out in the full initially.
I'm guessing we're going to go to the arc as Levi Ashcroft is trying to claim the footy and line up for a shot on goal. So maybe that has come through. So right forward pocket, 35 metres out. The younger of the Ashcroft boys looking to try and work the banana around the corner. Fires on goal and misses to the right-hand side. 15-point lead the Demons' way. 20 minutes gone. Time on in the final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Boundary umpires will be hoarse after the game today. They've had a lot of chats. There's been a lot happening down there.
Quarter time in Perth, Benny. The Dockers 2-4-16, leading the West Coast Eagles 6 behind. For some of our audience, we'll take you there at the completion of this afternoon's match.
Tolstrup with the kick in. Up towards a contest and down in front as he always is, Lockie Neal. His handball goes to Cully of Melbourne. He'll kick up towards the logo. Van Rooyen running and jumping. Andrews at the back. Melbourne 15 points to the good. As Andrews, defensive point of the square, off to Gallup. To the middle of the ground for Dunkley. Out wide for Levi Ashcroft. He'll chisel the ball inside 50 and too hot. Overcooks it. Mark taken back pocket by Langdon for Melbourne. They still lead by 15, time on fourth term.
Langdon with his arms outstretched, just trying to ask for a few options. Decides to send it as long as he can. Out towards Jefferson. Harris Andrews makes the spoil. Jefferson gathers. Kadeen Goldman gathers him. Got a hand pass away to Windsor at the last moment. From left half back up the wing. Van Rooyen's in the pack. Chandler flew in the end against him. Working his way back is Dunkley. Gets the hand pass to Wilmot. Kicks into the middle of the ground for Brisbane, where Reville is back on the ground and he takes the mark. Not looking all that comfortable on that left ankle as he gingerly pulls up at centre half back.
They're just getting beaten at drop of ball at the moment, the Demons. The Lions are being able to generate that extra number when the big men fly, just when it hits the ground.
He's put his hand up, Reville. He's no good. So short kick to Neil, up to half forward, through hands. Gathered away by Morris to Loman, and they've got McCarthy all on his own in the goal square. Brisbane get one back. And all of a sudden, that margin is reeled in once more. It's a 9-point lead Melbourne's way. Melbourne with 4-3 in the final term, but you feel like Brisbane are trying to build. The Demons 15-8-98. Melbourne 15-8-98 to Brisbane 13-11-83. The first goal for Link McCarthy this afternoon. Bob Murphy and Daniel Harford with you on ABC Sport.
Yeah, as we see Brucey come off under the hands of the trainers there, Bruce Reville for Brisbane. I don't think we'll see him for the rest of the game. Just look at the replay there. I mean, it's talked about defence a couple of times today and what you have to do in aerial situations from a defender's perspective. Melbourne all ahead of the footy there from a front square perspective, and Brisbane just ran to the back. They just rolled the dice a little bit, had 3 players goal side of their opponents. That's why they were able to march it in the end. So just little things, little mindset shifts and things you've got to be aware of defensively make a big difference in these moments.
Noah Ransworth off the ground. Cosy Pickett bumped him, which was sort of fair and square right up the middle, but then he ricocheted into Brody Myercheck and sort of got whiplash and hit his head almost on Brody Myercheck, and he's off getting a concussion check at the moment. So that's a bit of a strange one. This game has an incredible way of throwing up things that we haven't seen before or don't expect. Like, is Cosy culpable for the damage there?
So he's bumped him, and then the players potentially got a concussion, potentially.
Yep. But Cosy hit him fair and square, didn't hit him high.
But he elected to bump him.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
and he didn't have to.
If there's a third party, I think the culpability is taken away. Yeah, I think.
It's going to be an interesting one. Ray might be able to help us. Here is Cosy Pickett at half forward, zipping away with the footy, kicking to full forward.
He's going to play the block.
It's a free kick.
It's a Melbourne
Langford. He was blocked by McCluggage.
Maybe
it was Leicester.
He was.
He's
straight up
blocked.
It was a clumsy block from McCluggage. He didn't need to be so...
And he knows it too. McCluggage knows it. He just apologised to Harris Andrews. Sorry, mate. It's 100% a block.
Yeah, McCluggage it was.
I mean, him falling over as he did it didn't help.
No.
Langford hooks it through. And the D's are within touching distance of victory. 3 for Langford. 16-8-104. Brisbane 13-11-89. 24 played final term. Melbourne by 15.
Well, that makes it a challenge now. He's had a pretty good afternoon, Harvey Langford, 25-3. Might feature in Bob's votes. Or was it my turn? Can't remember. But we got the replay again. And yeah, clear as day. He just runs into Langford. McCluggage does. Harris Andrews is going for the mark. Didn't need to do it. He really had no play on the ball.
Overcooked it.
Yeah. And it could be very, very costly. And such an experienced player too.
Yeah.
That's the pressure of the situation. Scoreboard pressure does funny things. These have done a great job here to just keep him at arm's length in this last quarter.
5-3 Melbourne's way. Draper in the middle of the ground. Tap row by Gawn and Melbourne. Hand pass to Sparrow. Cuts to his right. Inside 50 once more. Van Rooyen from the back. Spoiled away by Harris Andrews. Coleman will get there first for Brisbane. Running towards his defensive goal mouth. He gets a hand pass out to Lockie Neal. Sidesteps Van Rooyen in game 300. Chips it out to the back pocket and Will Ashcroft marks. So still plenty of time despite it being 25 minutes on the clock. But Brisbane need to start to get something building. To Neil, who gets involved once more at right half back. His 7th possession coming up in this final term as he plays on and runs the Shane stand wing and kicks up towards Oscar Allen, who marks on his chest.
Allen gets around his man on the mark, sends the Lions inside 50. Morris has got it in front of the pack. He takes the mark, 35 out, tight angle right forward pocket.
And a little bit of love for Sammy Draper too, who just held Max Gawn back.
Subtly. That's the lesson.
Subtly. Yeah. Because Maxie was in the hole waiting for that long kick. Draper comes back or comes into him and just grabs him a little bit so he couldn't launch at the footy, which means it's a one-on-one with Morris and Disco Turner. And Morris had the cleaner jump and took the mark because we know he's a good player.
Draper more subtle than McCluggage.
Yes.
That'll be the last time we say that this year, I reckon.
Morris, with his drop punt, steers it home.
Oh, boy.
And the Lions aren't going away. 9 points, Melbourne's lead. 16-8, 104 plays, 14-11, 95. 26 and a half minutes into the fourth. Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
That's his third again for Brisbane. They've had plenty of goal kicks. Well, they had 12 individual goal kickers, Brisbane, this afternoon, but he's got 3 of them.
That's a strong pair of hands.
Well, he's what Van Rooyen is to Melbourne. He's almost to Brisbane.
Yeah.
In fact, he's obviously played a few more good games and certainly in bigger contests as well, but he's a real talent, this boy. For someone who was so deep in the draft, it's been talked about in the last 12 months or so, how he slipped to where he went. He's such a presence in the air.
31.
That spoil of Turner. That spoil of Turner's. That spoiled 98% of league footballers.
Draper wins down the tap to Neil. Tries to hand pass out in front of Charlie Cameron. He bursts away from Windsor. Good luck catching him. Cameron with a touch of class. Oh, he's revving. Charlie Cameron at the MCG as he puts through his third. And Brisbane put through a couple of goals in 90 seconds. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-point Melbourne lead. 27 minutes gone in the final term. Melbourne 16-8, 104 to the revving, the roaring Brisbane Lions 15-11, 101.
Oh, he could light up a town, Charlie Cameron. When he gets a run at the footy, he breaks that tackle, and the momentum with which he plays at, it's so exhilarating. So much speed, so much balance, skill and toughness. That had everything. That's the greatest hits of AFL footy right there. That was just perfect.
So he came in off the front of the square, attacked the footy, turned around and still beat them all back to goal.
So Brisbane right back in it. Dunkley out of the middle. Here's Cameron again. He'll kick into the pocket for a leading Rayner, sliding into mark. I think one umpire suggesting bump ball and one's paid the mark. Rayner will end up with it.
What happens there? Who gets the call there, Razor?
He set it down to the rooms.
Oh, right. You can answer it later on.
Maybe the umpire, I thought he was suggesting bump ball. He might have been saying he was underneath it.
We'll see the replay of actually what it was. Oh, I don't know. I'd probably pay that. You'd pay that, I reckon.
I wouldn't be walking half.
Oh, definitely not walking, but I'm paying that.
Cam Rayner.
Tell your story, walking fella.
Needs a big moment to take back the lead for Brisbane. And he misses.
Oh.
Just across the face. The Lions cheer squad are up. They thought it was through.
Yeah, they disagreed.
They were at the other end of the ground. They were a long way away.
They're still perplexed, a few of them.
Melbourne by 2 points, 29 and a half into the fourth.
Maxie's been whacked in the guts. He was on the ground just then. The big fella was felled.
3 minutes and change to go. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. We've had a few thrillers across the weekend. Tholstrup into Langdon. Melbourne up the wing. Gawn and Turner both there. Off hands, it's gathered by Van Rooyen. Hand pass to Langford. Runs the boundary line. Hand pass looking for Laurie. Awkward bouncing ball for Leicester. Dunkley slides in for Brisbane. Got it back to Wilmot. Hand pass to Leicester. Trying to slap it on. Over the top of it is Van Rooyen, and Will Ashcroft emerges with a footy. Gawn missed him, but Steele didn't. And Jack Steele wins red and blue hearts with a goal-saving tackle.
Oh, this is a street fight now.
Yep.
Both sides redlining it, giving it absolutely everything they've got.
Steele kicks up to a contest. Looking for Gawn. He just slaps it on, but Kitty Coleman gets a little block from Harris Andrews. Brisbane ball back flank. Handball to Dunkley. Handball to Leicester on the wing. Kicks along the ground to Will Ashcroft. Clean pickup. Releases Bailey with the handball. Kicks inside 50. McCarthy's down there. Howes halves it. Tolstrup gets back. Picks it up. He's at fullback. He hurries a kick. It might work out. Sparrow marks.
That's a kick. That's a win for your system because Because Sparrow got there because that's where he's expected to go
Yes.
in that scenario. That's a win for your coaching and your system right there for the D's.
That is some kick from Colton Falstrup and a great mark from Tom Sparrow.
He
Can
knew he was
Melbourne
going to be hit, didn't he?
Yep.
survive 90 seconds. Long kick from half-back. Gorn caught behind. Harris Andrews missed it. Spills to the front. Pickett shovels a hand pass forward to Jefferson. Hand pass to Langford. Melbourne are out. Mychek can mark it right half forward. He might milk the clock here. Just wait for players to stream past. Can he find one in the pocket? Cozzy's leading in that direction.
Oh, Van Rooyen.
Van Rooyen's your man.
Van Rooyen over the top. He marks just inside 50 out to the right. He points to the big sticks. 31 minutes gone in the final term, and he will take every bit of his 30 seconds.
Swanee in head office is wetting himself at the moment.
I saw Swanee in the lift before the game.
Absolutely wetting himself.
This is a sixth game this year where both teams have scored 100 points.
Yeah, that's why.
We had 5 in all of last year.
Yeah, good pick up. That's exactly where I was going. Last night was another one.
So Jacob Van Rooyen has kicked...
That's perfect pick up. That's what I wanted you to pick up.
Games are too close, I reckon.
Well, after a relatively disappointing gather round score-wise and competition-wise, this round's been phenomenal.
Van Rooyen has kicked 3 for the match, 2 in the last quarter. He kicks as long as he can to the goal square. Marks taken by Harris Andrews. Now Brisbane need to run at the length of the ground.
There's 29 seconds of game time remaining. Andrews kicks up the middle. No mark taken. Ball hits the deck. Will Ashcroft coming through. And a ball upcoming.
So Bailey Fritz is the real anchor, the deep anchor for Melbourne. But at centre half back, this ball up's going to be just inside forward 50, top of the arc for the D. So he's...
Cam Rayner in the centre square. Charlie Cameron about 80 metres out. They are the ones that could do it.
Draper slapping it down. Sharp knocks it for Melbourne. Then it comes back to him. Handball to Steele. Handball to Langdon. They're at half forward Melbourne. Pokes it into the pocket. Chandler drops the mark. It allows in Harris Andrews, and Brisbane will go again. Off the back flank. Dunkley kicks up to the wing. Melbourne hold on. It's more than the luck of the Irish. Melbourne were brilliant, and they win by 2 points.
It's a grand old flag, it's a high-flying flag. It's the emblem for me and for you. It's the emblem of the team we love, the team of the red and the blue. Every heart beats true for the red and the blue, and we sing this song to you. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the red and the blue.
Oh, they are jigging in the aisles right now, the Melbourne fans. They're clapping along. The goal kickers for the D's. 3 to Langford, 3 to Chandler, 2 to Van Rooyen, 2 to Mychek, 2 to Sharp, 2 to Fritz, and a single to Steele for Brisbane. 3 to Morris, 3 to Charlie Cameron, 2 to Rayner, singles, McCarthy, Will Ashcroft, Dunkley, Allen, Fletcher, Draper, and Lohman. Melbourne, they have taken down the reigning premiers to get to 4-2. That's 4-2 on the season.
It's a high-flying flag. It's the emblem for me and for you. It's the emblem of the team we love, the team of the red and the blue. Every heart beats true for the red and the blue, and we sing this song to you. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the red and the blue.
There's some who thought the Demons might be a bottom 4 side in season 2026. They're in the top 8 after a breakthrough win against the reigning premiers at the MCG. And the Lions, who lost their first 2 games of the season, they're 3-3, trying to get a foothold in the season. An entertaining final term in which 10 goals were kicked, both sides booting 5, and Brisbane booted 5 goals for. The Demons finished the right side of it, winning by 2 points at the MCG. The thoughts of Daniel Harford and Bob Murphy.
Well, another terrific Sunday afternoon at the MCG. Bob, we've seen a few of these games, the way that Melbourne play, they're never out of it, and they find a way to keep going. You talked about going to the bell at the start of the contest, and they just are absolutely fervent on and vigorous on getting to the bell as hard and as quick as they can. Interesting stat in the last quarter. Melbourne had 10 uncontested marks in the last quarter. That's it. 10. So they were in motion.
It's not their style, is it, when you're trying to save a game? Hold on.
So but you're right. It talks about the style. It's not what they're asked to do in those scenarios when the game's on the line. They're asked to keep the ball in motion. They don't want the stop-start game. They are better when they can springboard from defence into attack, and even from attack into defence if they can do that well enough. But they're better when the ball's in motion. You don't want to see Melbourne play a stop-start game. And we saw that evident in the last quarter. They were able to get over the line with those goals. 5-4. 5 straight to 5-4 in the last quarter. It was an entertaining Sunday afternoon at the MCG.
Hell of a game of footy. That's a hell of a game of footy. And I think probably more than just about any team I've seen live, Brisbane test you with their ability to move the ball, and they go wide and they can go anywhere and they've got quality. And for a big chunk of the game, I thought, that eventually they'll just overwhelm Melbourne here with that ball movement. And Melbourne on the fly, they take the game on. They keep hanging in and they're resilient and they've got an appetite for bravery with the ball. But they were able to make that slight adjustment just to slow Brisbane down enough. Just to slow them down enough in the second half, and it gave them an opportunity. Gee, they were brave. Both sides gave it absolutely everything. But the Demons thoroughly deserve that victory.
It's a fair bounce back from their loss to the Bombers at the Adelaide Oval last week. And if the Kangaroos were the Friday night team of the 90s, the Demons are becoming the 3:15 team of the Sunday, because that is 4 from 4 when the ABC Sports Sunday team has called the Demons. As Latrell Pickett and Cozzy Pickett are both being interviewed by a TV, and the two playing groups are going to gather in front of the Brisbane Lions race, and Lachie Neale is going to be chaired off in his 300th match. It's also the 200th game for Josh Dunkley and the 50th game for Logan Morris, but it's not quite the occasion in which Lachie Neale, the dual Brownlow medalist, would have wanted. He walks out with the guard of honour and Josh Dunkley to his left. Dunkley comes across and an acknowledgement from Stephen King, and Lachie Neale with the family there. He also goes across to Stephen King and thanks the Demons for their guard of honour, but not quite the occasion Lachie Neale and Josh Dunkley would have hoped for, as the Demons record their 4th win of the season. 2-point winners here at the MCG in front of 41,629 fans. And we spoke to Max Gawn after one of those Sunday night equations, and he said quite often we want to try and keep the game tight, and the style of game in which the team is playing, the Pickett boys say, no, we're not doing that, and they take a few risks, and sometimes it costs them, but 5 goals straight to 5-4 in that last quarter, Daniel Hufford. They found a way to score and to really take it up to the reigning premiers, who aren't quite at their best at the moment.
Yeah, you got me thinking about that conversation we had with Max. Was it after the Gold Coast game? A couple of weeks ago, I think it might have been. And he said, without trying to make Stephen King's job sound pretty simple, in attack, he just sort of lets them play. There's a few little things he'd like to see in place, but he lets them use their talents and play. And when you reflect upon that and you marry that up with what we saw, especially in the last quarter, but probably the third quarter as well when they kicked 6 goals to 2, that's what they did. They just played. They used their instincts. They did what they thought was right at the time, and they've come out as on top again. So it's a real good reinforcement of believing in your players. You draft your players, you develop your players to be, what they sort of came in and better versions of. And no one comes in to be that stodgy defensive type, really. They're the best players of competition that you want to get the ball in their hands, and Stephen King trusts them, seemingly, to do exactly that.
I'm loath to... That's wording Max said, but he said, I know we're not going to get berated for making a mistake.
Yeah.
That, we're encouraged to use our talent, as you said, and take the game on at times, and there's not going to be consequences if we make mistakes.
I am loath to drag Carlton into this. They've gone through enough, Carlton. But we have talked about them in the past of when they move the ball slowly, they defend slowly. Well, because Melbourne always commit to this constant movement, constant bravery, constant intensity, that's with their ball movement. I think their defence follows suit. That, they can make adjustments, but it's not as stark, we run hard downhill and then we trudge back. It looks to me that they're committed to both sides of the game. It's simple and it's working for them at the moment. And with each scalp, they put a bit more belief in the bucket.
Melbourne wanted to turn the page and start a new era. Well, they've done that under Stephen King, and they'll hope it's the sort of coming-of-age moment for a few of their players. Jacob Van Rooyen kicked a couple of big goals in that last quarter, and Kate Chandler's the one who kicked 2 in the space of 3 minutes, gave Melbourne a little bit of breathing space. That being said, when Charlie Cameron kicked that goal, the Lions were within 3 points. You thought Brisbane are going to overrun them here.
And Rayner has that shot.
Yes.
To put them in front, just misses to the left-hand side. So again, it's a game of inches. We've known that about this game for many, many years. It didn't go in their way, or on their way there this afternoon for the Brisbane Lions. I mean, whilst they'll be disappointed, no doubt, I don't think they're losing too much sleep just at the minute about the start of the season, despite the fact that they're 3-3. They'll be okay.
They'll be okay
through the journey. So they'll be fine on the reflection. They'll learn a few things from here. But the story again is Melbourne. I just think it has to be Melbourne.
So 4-2. They've got Richmond next Friday night at the MCG, Sydney at the SCG, West Coast at Docklands. So all of a sudden, 4-2 could very potentially become sort of 6-3 maybe.
And that's front half of the year. If you're positive, I reckon if you're Stephen King and you're asked at the start of the season, what would you like to be halfway mark? If you gave him over 500, betting over 500, he would have taken that every day of the week.
No doubt.
Every day of the week. So I think it's there's obviously still a bit to play out to get to that point, but they are absolutely in the mood, especially here. They play this venue so well. Despite the fact they don't train here, they play this venue so well to the point where Stephen King's just put out a tweet. He'd like to see the AFL Grand Final move to Sunday 3:15 just to give the D's a chance to win one in front of their members.
Just to have the ABC Sport team calling on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, that was the next thing. It's loath of us to be self-indulgent, but there is a linkage. There is a linkage between what we're doing and what the Demons are doing on a Sunday afternoon that cannot be ignored.
I think that's fair. They missed us last week and they couldn't get the jockeys.
So the Demons jumped to 8th spot on the ladder and Brisbane are in 9th spot. So Melbourne are 4 wins and 2 losses. Brisbane are 3 wins and 3 losses. It just shows you how quickly it can change, doesn't it? From Melbourne and the frustration, they obviously made some tough decisions in the parting of ways with Christian Petrarca and Clayton Oliver. But they seem to have embraced this game style under Stephen King, and geez, winning helps.
Yeah, and I think their list build's been quite solid, even in the last couple of years when things have gone a bit pear-shaped, gone awry, that they've brought in some talent, and they've had access to high-level players through the draft, and they've done a pretty good job with that, looks like, and then they've brought in some Moneyball players, some key acquisitions, the MVD.
Yeah, MVD, most valuable Demon.
As Bob calls him, Brady Myercheck. Just structural players who can come in and make a difference. And they're doing that, and they're all on the same page. And that's the beauty of when you've got a new coach, and because you're buying everything they say. Everything they're selling, you're buying, because you have to.
Yes.
Because you've got no reason.
What's the alternative?
Yeah, that's right. You've got no reason not to. The evidence doesn't suggest you shouldn't. We're all in. And so when you get your reward and your licks of the ice cream on the back of that early, as you said before, they're all in.
They are. They're all in.
The D's stunned the reigning premiers with a 2-point win at the MCG. Good to see Harrison Petty is there as Melbourne are making their way into their change rooms. Let's join them with Ray Chamberlain.
Plenty of high fives, plenty of jigs, plenty of noise, plenty of smiles down here. And why wouldn't they be? 4 wins and a great bounce back against the back-to-back premiers. Very exciting rooms.
Led by Max Gawn as they make their way in. 3 goals for Jacob Van Rooyen, for Harvey Langford as well, and for Cade Chandler in the Demons' victory. And no doubt the celebrations will fly for Xavier Taylor playing in his first win. Demons winners by 2 points at the MCG, 16-8, 104 to Brisbane, 15-12, 102. Ray Chamberlain will bring us an interview from the Demons' rooms. The reports at 3/4 time from Alan Richardson was that they believe Harrison Petty was concussed from an incident in the first half, so it might have been delayed concussion that resulted in what we saw took place, that kick that turned over in the third quarter. Will Ashcroft kicked a goal and he wasn't really able to stand up without the support of a couple of teammates. And unfortunately for the Brisbane Lions, Jared Berry also suffered a calf injury. A ankle injury for Bruce Reville. He was unable to finish the game. And the other news coming through today, a 75-point win for North Melbourne over the Tigers. Unfortunately, more injuries for Richmond as well, winless so far this season. And the Fremantle Dockers lead the West Coast Eagles in the second quarter by 21 points. 6-5-41 to the Eagles, 2-8-20. 1 week for Dylan Moore and James Sicily from the match review officer to their gut punches. Interestingly, given the Hawks take on the Gold Coast Suns down in Tassie next week, so a big challenge for them, and fines for Toot Miller and for Zach Butters.
Yeah, fair enough too for those weeks for the Hawks boys. I've been crusading for this for years. Well, Swanee doesn't listen to me, which is a bit annoying, but if you choose to strike someone, there's a week before you even start. It's not part of the game, never been a part of the game, it's never been legal, and these days we're less accepting of it. If you hit someone, there's a week for, call it goose tax, for being a goose.
Yes.
And then you get your week for the penalty. So you
like
get two.
And the SMS 0437 774 774. Pete from Ballarat. Anyone saying massive upset hasn't been paying attention. D's are playing some of their best footy in years without Petrarca, Oliver and May. The Pickett combination is lethal, and I'm no D's fan. Steve from the Gold Coast says, how much responsibility should Logan Morris take for not taking that shot on goal? He chipped it back to Reveal and he missed. There was plenty of goals after then. And Andrew says, why didn't Goodwin adapt this game style 3 years ago? Possibly could have had a second premiership.
Well, that's a coaching philosophical discussion. That's coaches stand by their philosophies, and Goodies is different to what Stephen King's certainly is, or seemingly is, from what we've seen so far. So that's just a philosophical conversation. Some work, some don't.
It did win a flag, Goody.
Yeah, it had a moment, didn't it?
No small piece of evidence.
And for this footy club,
yeah,
it's a pretty important moment.
0437 774 774. If you're a Happy D's fan, leaving the MCG. If you're a Brisbane or Fitzroy fan, let us know what your thoughts are on the Lions, who are 3-3. But I think we all feel like they'll build throughout the season. Let's head down to Ray Chamberlain in the Demons' rooms.
Yeah, g'day guys. We are down here with Cade Chandler. Cade, fourth win. A beautiful way to bounce back here in Jim Steins. Have a crack at the MCG round. I tell you what, mate, at one stage there when you kicked 5 in a row, it looked like Bridie O'Reilly's more than the MCG. I can assure you of that. Tell me how today's victory was unpacked by your boys.
Yeah, it was great to see so much green around the MCG. We knew we had to respond from last week. Like, that was subpar by our standards. We've played some good footy this year, and even today there were probably bits and pieces that we weren't that tidy, especially with the ball, but Kingy's always about what's next and clean the ball up if we make a mistake and things like that. And I just think we stuck to it. Like, Brizzy are the measuring stick of the competition, and you know, we had to respond after last week. I'm just so proud of the boys, the way we went about it. Like, they were 3-4 goals up at one stage, and we just stuck to it. And I think it's a sign of a mature team to stick to their guns through adversity. So really pleasing.
I've been really lucky to be able to watch a few of your games live, and I saw last week, and it was an aberration for sure. Weird sort of around. You're playing in a neutral venue. You bounce back here at the MCG, but during the week you get to work, right? So Kingy and the coaching staff, what were the key elements that they asked you to focus on in terms of turning things around today?
I think it just started with our effort, to be honest. Like last week, obviously we come off the back of a really good win against Gold Coast, and we possibly thought that it was just going to happen again last week. So we just got back to basics and just pressure, tackling, get the ball moving forward and give our forwards a chance. I think that's where the game started to shift today.
In the ABC broadcasting team, you won't be aware of this, but we like to try and make it about ourselves. Do you know how many Brownlow votes you've had?
Maybe a couple.
Yeah, do you know who you know one of the former umpires who might have been at the ground the day you got him?
Wouldn't have a clue. Who would that be?
Well, it might be me, mate. You might be a chance for a couple more today, I reckon, after your performance. But I'm going to throw it upstairs to the boys to ask you some questions.
Cade, it's Bob Murphy here. You'll have to forgive me. I'm just stunned about what my colleague Ray just put to you in the last 15 seconds, mate. Congratulations on another inspiring win, and I don't say that lightly. It's just a great experience to watch you guys play at the moment, and the level of commitment across the board. But just you personally, it looks to me when you get the ball within, say, 60, 65 metres. You have a sense of calm and confidence that you want the ball in your hands and you know that you've got the talent to kick the goal. Can you just take me through that process? Is it as calm in your own thinking, in your process, as it looks to us on the outside?
I guess I'd probably put it down to just years in the system, to be honest. Like, I've played 85 odd games now, and you know, you learn a lot over those games. And like, I've just turned 26 and I've been in the system for 8 years. So, you know, you learn to be calm. Like, I'm not a kid anymore, so I feel like I've got a mature head on my shoulders. So when I do have the ball in my hands, like, if you're rushed and flustered, like, nothing's ever going to work out. So like if you're really calm and you get done holding the ball, like, we'd rather that than get a full head of steam and kick it out in the full or make mistakes. So for me personally, like, I pride myself on kicking the ball inside 50 or, you know, being sort of clever around goals. So, you know, when I do get the ball inside 60 or 65, like, I feel like that's sort of my time to shine. So haven't really had that many opportunities this year to date, but today was a good step in the right direction.
Well, you had a couple of huge moments, mate, particularly late in the game. One thing I noticed more broadly speaking was the game was played really wide today. Both teams moved the ball, you know, far and wide around the wings and deep into the pockets, but it did seem like after half-time that you guys made a bit of an adjustment just to close down that space and start to impact those contests a bit more. Was that something that Stephen King spoke about at half-time?
Yeah, we knew that, like, Brizzy are just such a gun side. They got so much talent, so many good players, and if we give them the corridor, then it's going to be a long day for us. So, you know, our game plan was sort of protect the corridor at all costs, and then if we had any opportunities to go back through there, then we try to exploit that. But to their credit, they defended it just as well as what we did. So that's probably why it was played wide. And then to answer your question, the last quarter, you know, we were up at times, so it was just important that we just stuck to it, really got after and put them under the pump and tackled hard. That was sort of the main game plan late.
Okay, Daniel Harford, mate, well done to you and the lads. Great performance. It's fun watching you guys on Sunday afternoons at the MCG. We've seen all your wins this year in this venue in the time slot, and you've had to work and differently to a degree, but there's a real sense that when we watch you, we see a team that wants to play in constant motion. Is that sort of the system you're trying to run?
I mean, at times, like, we sort of just take what the game gives us, and if that means we have to go fast and you know, get it in quick to our forwards, and we'll take that. But the game doesn't always give you that, and especially against teams like Brisbane who are so set up well defensively, sometimes you just have to take the sting out of it, maybe take a few marks, like, because that's what they like to do as well. So we sort of thought if we could make them defend a little bit, then that'd go a long way to us having a bit more juice on offense and make them pay that way.
Guys, we're getting a bit of a wind-up down here. Cade's been unbelievably generous with his time. The real question that we need to be asking you before you head off, mate, Albie, how many weeks old?
He's just gone 6 weeks old.
He's been to 3 games. You've had 3 wins. Every Melbourne fan wants to know, will Albie be in attendance here at the MCG for Anzac Day Eve?
I'm hoping so.
Congratulations, mate, on your own performance, but more broadly, the way you guys are playing in today's win. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you to Cade Chandler. Ray, as we let you go, can you see Harrison Petty at all in the rooms? We'll come back to you in just a moment, Ray.
I can tell you, Ray's talking about Cade Chandler. Plus, they were 90-point victors against North Melbourne in round 7 2023 when Razor gave Cade Chandler 2 votes for his 21 disposals and 3 goals.
Just think of how many players Ray has to get to in those rooms to explain when he gave
him votes.
He had 6 hours it'll take him.
Did Ray wrap up the interview because we're getting the wind-up because he needed another 2 minutes for the off-air chat after the interview?
That's a little unfair.
I think we all know the answer to that question, Benny.
The radio etiquette, as he's thanking the guest to ask him another question, given he'd taken the cans off. His work was done for the day, rightfully so. Melbourne by 2 points at the MCG, 16-8, 104 to the Lions, 15-12. 102, but I guess, the talking point is going to be some of those injuries. So Noah Answorth has failed his HIA concussion test, so he won't be there for the game against Adelaide at the Gabba next week. And for the Demons, unfortunately, that bizarre incident around Harrison Petty. So it sounds like a concussion knock that took place, or a knock, I should say, that took place in the first half, and then some delayed concussion symptoms. So
it still staggers me, the number of players that are affected by contact these days, Bob. And I know the game's different. And we used to cop some massive hits, and there'd be none of this. And maybe there's more reporting, and they're more vigilant, and probably a bit more sensitive to it than when we went around. But I can't understand how there's so much damage done to these guys these days with contact. Sometimes really incidental. I just don't get it.
Maybe the speed and the type of athlete, like they are a physically different athlete.
Yeah,
so I think that, we sit up here at level 2, the velocity of it, and I think maybe an awareness, like the players themselves are more aware with. I mean, but today was, I haven't seen that. That was the
Petty situation.
Yeah, the Petty situation. That was quite unusual. Yeah, and unnerving, and our thoughts are with him. Hope he's okay. Delayed concussion is. It's not a nice thing to witness because of the confusion for everyone. You sort of think, what's happened?
Where's that come from?
What's going on?
Bob Murphy, Daniel Harford, Matt Clinch and Ben Cameron with you. The Demons winners by 2 points, while North Melbourne defeated Richmond by 75 points. While at Perth Stadium, it's the Fremantle Dockers at half-time. They lead by 22 points, 6-42 to the Eagles, 2-8-20. Can I take you back to one of your points you're referencing, I think in the last quarter half, and Benny, Melbourne scored over 100 points 5 times last season. They scored over 100 points 4 times in their first 6 games this season, and yet it seems to be a bit more common across the weekend's footy.
Yep.
Do you think the rules have opened up scoring a little bit more, or is there a bit more... I mean, teams like Melbourne, the intent to try and score feels like it's changed.
Well, I think that's the kicker. I think that's the real key point, the intent. I think the law's adjustments have given coaches the opportunity to change their intent to score and their desire to score. And I think that's the result. This is the result we're seeing. So as a result of that, they go through their plan, their system, the way they want to see the ball moved, particularly obviously in attack, because that's when they've got it. So, and it's different, and it's fast, and it's in the face, and it's challenging the opposition defence more than it ever has. And to Andrew's point off the SMS before about Simon Goodwin and his system and that type of thing, every time we heard Simon Goodwin speak, it was about his philosophy was contest and defence. And that, to a degree, the game was demanding that as well. So the way the game was structured and set up and officiated, that's sort of what you got rewarded for being really good at. Now, that's been flipped a bit, that you are encouraged to attack. You're encouraged to find space, to go back at the opposition really quickly. Just because the space will be there, the laws are going to protect you or give you opportunity to do that, 666, centre bounce, all that sort of stuff. So I think the intent to attack has been driven by the changes. Not necessarily the other changes giving you the outcomes we're getting, but it's changed the mindset of the coaching staff and the coaching fraternity to want to be more aggressive. And that's why we're getting what we're getting.
And there's always a little bit of follow the leader, I think. Adelaide, we forget about Adelaide, but they were clearly the top side last year. Beautiful ball movement, high scoring. Geelong, they are always, they play a balanced type of footy. But Brisbane are the benchmark for lots of reasons, and for the last few years, they do take the game on. And I think a lot of clubs think, well, that's where we need to get to.
And I guess the other part is with the introduction of the 666, it becomes pretty hard to defend.
Absolutely.
We saw Brisbane get a couple of clearances in a row. Charlie Cameron ran onto a loose ball, left everyone in his wake and kicked a goal, and you think, good luck trying to stop that.
Yeah, well, we heard Ross Lyon post-game last night after their loss to Adelaide in the press conference just talk about the centre square bounces, and we just could not get the ball back. And they coughed up 9 goals in a row now. I wouldn't imagine too many teams Ross has coached have coughed up 9 in a row through the second and the third terms. So that's exactly what happens. Once you get on a roll and you can't get your handle on at the centre bounce or the centre throw up these days, it becomes really challenging to defend. So that's the opportunity for the other team to attack and score and put more pressure on. So there is a change in the dynamic. I do think a lot of it's about the intent from the coaching staff. No doubt follow the lead's a factor and the best teams. But it's also going back to something we said before, that these guys are talented and they come here talented. And you don't... I think philosophically you don't want to suck that out of them by teaching them just about defence and contest all the time when they've got so much to offer on the attacking side of the game, and you coach it out of them within the first couple of years in previous generations. It doesn't make any sense. So we're seeing the benefit of encouraging, nurturing that talent, that flair, that creativity, which is great for the game.
It'll be interesting to see if it continues throughout the season, because as we know, there can often be a couple of changes in style and trends throughout the season. So Melbourne winners by 2 points.
This feels more baked in.
Yep.
Interesting.
I'm with you. So last night, it was, 103, 102 last night, Adelaide St Kilda. Even Hawthorn and Port Adelaide, 89-86. Gold Coast Essendon was 119-110.
Which again, for the Bombers to score that, felt a long way away, sort of 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Carlton Collingwood 83-88 is not bad. 130-156 Geelong Bulldogs. Obviously a disastrous night for the Bulldogs. 107-66 for the Giants. This round. Let alone the Kangas putting on 130 against the Tigers at Docklands today when they scored 55.
Dogs game was a few days ago. I don't know if you needed to bring that one.
Sorry.
Not relevant. Not as relevant, I would have thought.
It was a rough day.
Do unfortunately have a Dogs question to ask you before we close out. So the votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year. Daniel Harford has the job this afternoon.
This is a big job.
Well, I've been guided a little bit by our friend Razor Ray.
Oh, hello.
Well, because in
Brownlow votes on offer.
In 2023, when Cade Chandler had 21 and kicked 3, he got 2 votes. So I couldn't give him 2 because he only had 17 today. But I gave him 1. And because it was the timing of his goals, particularly in the last quarter, those two in the last quarter, and the way he did it, he was deserving of being one of the most impactful players on the contest. So he's getting 1 vote today, Kate Chandler. 2 votes to Harris Andrews. He was a Goliath behind the ball for the Brisbane Lions. He was awesome. From a numbers perspective, he had 22 disposals. How many marks did he take?
12 marks.
12 marks. 5 intercepts. Couple of tackles as well, score involvements too. He did just pretty much everything. He was an absolute Goliath. He gets 2 votes. And I'm giving 3 votes to Harvey Langford, who started the game with the first goal of the contest, ended up with 27 and 3. And he's growing in front of our eyes. I remember watching him the first game of the season and thinking, okay, he's got a bit more going on in his confidence, I think. He's really starting to believe in himself. And today I think we saw the full benefit of that. Spent a lot of time on Hugh McCluggage, who we know is a champion of the game. And he lowered his colours to Harvey Langford today. So with his performance, 27 and 3, he gets our 3 votes for Player of the Day.
Pick 6 in 2024. You're right. He's certainly improving right in front of our eyes. So he gets the 3 votes from Daniel Harford in the ABC Football of the Year. 3 to Langford, 2 to Andrews, and 1 to Kyle Chandler.
I've been going through the MRO regulations, I guess is what it's called, but it's a dry read, if I'm honest. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of, whether Cozzy Pickett will have a case to answer for his bump on Noel Answorth, which hit him fair up the middle, didn't hit him high, but Answorth goes into Brody Myercheck, gets his neck kind of craned and gets a little bit of whiplash and ends
Ricochets is the word you used earlier, which I like.
The famous
Paddy O'Shea's brother Rick.
Yeah, famous Irishman on this day of all
on this
of them.
day. Fantastic.
He ends up with concussion, and he's coming back from concussion as well,
Right.
Noel Answorth. So it's been a bad little period for him. But
did you find anything in the guidelines?
Very unclear.
Right.
So,
I don't think.
It's not a good book, dry and unclear.
From my remembering, when they changed this, because there was a culpability that was added to the bumper in these scenarios for secondary contact to the ground and that type of thing. When you bumped and they hit their heads on the ground as a result and they got concussed, you were responsible for that. But I think once a third party is introduced, another player is introduced who's in the vicinity or comes into the vicinity, I think that is taken away from them. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it is.
Oh, I think he should be okay. He might be okay, but just a difficult one for the MRO.
Yeah, well, given Answorth has failed the concussion test, that'll be one to watch for tomorrow. The Zach Butter's appeal will take place at the tribunal as well. Lance Collard is going to challenge his findings, so it's going to be a busy week when it comes to some of the off-field stories, not to mention the Carlton review into what took place with Elijah Hollands on Thursday night. While Fremantle lead by 22 points in the final game of round 6, we're back underway for round 7 on Thursday night. Bob, your Western Bulldogs take on the Sydney Swans. It's been a sobering couple of days with the ACL confirmation for Sam Darcy and some of the other injuries that have taken place, but the Dogs are up against it a bit at the moment with some of the injuries that have taken place. How do you view them?
I think like everyone who supports the Western Bulldogs is sort of reeling from it. Really, I mean, it's an absolute disaster. From a couple of weeks ago, when how formidable the side was looking and the potential and how much growth Sam Darcy has in his game. So to go down in that fashion and lose some soldiers, and having already lost a couple, but the loss of Sam to the dreaded ACL, it's just that worst case scenario, and that goes more broadly to everyone who follows football, because I think there's the excitement of him as a player, what he does, but there's also the excitement of just what he could and will become. So players recover from these injuries a lot better than they ever have. But it was hard, It was a really difficult injury to watch, and the emotion was felt, because I know the family, I know the young lad, and I know what he means to that footy club.
Would you advise your old mate Tom Liberatore to consider his playing future after another concussion, a fourth in 12 months?
No, I wouldn't. There'd be a lot of people. Having those sort of discussions with Tom. Once it gets through the medical part of it, then it's the toughness of the Liberatore is something that's different to all of us. But when this is not about toughness, I'm not lumping that in. But concern for him, concern. And with any players who've had multiple concussions, the world we live in now, we think about it differently.
So the challenges for the Dogs with Rory Lobb, O'Donnell, Liberatore, Darcy. It's a fair stretch to be facing the side Sydney on Thursday night, who are 5 wins and 1 loss alongside Hawthorn. Ray Chamberlain has made his way back from the rooms. Ray, we'll finish with you. You got a chance to chat to Harrison Petty.
Yeah, got a chance to chat with Harrison, and he was in good spirits. Certainly absolutely lucid. No problems all there. Obviously, he didn't disclose any particular detail as to a diagnosis or what have you, but he was he got every word of the theme song right. He was up and about and buoyant. I also got to chat with Noah Ainsworth, who also had to come off the ground, and he seems really well. He felt like it was quite a conservative approach, but understands the nature of things in the game as it is today.
Look at you, getting this broadcasting journalistic caper down. Just finding out everything that's going on down there.
I'm in wonderful hands, guys. Thanks very much for today. I've enjoyed it.
The 3 votes to R. Chamberlain for our Sunday team, who are riding the Demons at the moment. Winners by 2 points over the Brisbane Lions. Thank you, Harv. Thank you, Bob.
Good on you, team. Great fun as always.
Thanks, boys.
We'll see you for another Sunday fixture. Thank you to Benny, of course, the ABC AFL Daily podcast coming up with Daniel Harford and Ben Cameron. You can catch that wherever you get your podcast from. Thanks to Jules back at base, to Razor, to Stu Hollywood-Baker, and of course to our WA team, where if you're not getting us on your local radio next, you can tune in via the ABC Listen app with Clint Weldon and Mitch Turner, Sharad Wellingham and Jared Schofield with a Cash Fodder on the boundary. The Demons were able to hold off the reigning premiers to prevail by 2 points here at the MCG in front of 41,629 fans. Thanks for your company on a Sunday afternoon on ABC Sport. Good night from the MCG.